Hello there. Good morning. How are you doing? Karibu sana to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Jane Boy. Kama kawaida, glad you are with us this fine, chilly Tuesday morning. Nonetheless, glad to be here, glad to be alive. Let us choose to celebrate these little wins that we get to see each and every day. Kama kawaida, nothing but a fantastic show lined up for you. Today being Tuesday, I'm going to be having two interviews. Number one, all about women at the forefront. And today we're going to be having Dr. Joanne Mwende, who is the county minister in charge of trade and tourism in Embu County, just trying to understand how trade and tourism, as well as investments, how they have been progressing, especially during this past 8 months, how that has been and what changes they have made as a county to adjust to the times, given it is her docket. And a bit later, we're also going to be having our health conversation. And today we're going to be looking at mental health and depression. Given that 1 in every 13 people worldwide suffers one major depression before they turn 75. Those are the stats that have been put out by the World Health Organization. Just today, we're going to be having that conversation to just understand what more we need to do to better protect our mental space, our mental health, to avoid sinking into depression, and actually just get to know some of those not so common signs and symptoms that point to mental illnesses as well as depression. All that and so much more will be coming up, but that is not all that we have lined up for you. Of course, the crew is right here, tuko sisi sote, ready to get this plane flying. Ama vipi watu wangu? Kabisa, kama K.
Yes, kama kawa.
Yeah, tuko sawa.
Asanteni kwa kuja.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, Mzee. Yeah, this is the only way to start your day. Good morning, Kenya.
Yeah.
Jina yangu ni Samuel Njoroge. I may not keep up with that someone that Jane just gave us, but
I got you, don't worry.
You got me, right?
I got you. If you know how you are got, you got it.
But from my end of things, I will be looking at public participation and inclusion when it comes to the BBI, especially when you're talking about disability, and how well has this matter or this issue been captured within this particular report. And I will also be having a conversation. Leo ni asubuhi na mayengs, wacha nikuambie. There's a lady who's coming through, Tracy Waithera. So she's into beauty and makeup, and she's decided to pick this up and make it up for entrepreneurship. So that will be coming up at exactly 8:30 a.m. So join me for that conversation. Again, hashtag Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1, at Sam W. Njoroge, at Dorina Range, at Ray Manyara, and at Jane Wamboy. Join us online for these conversations and much more. This is the only way to start your day. Good morning.
Now, in as far as news is concerned, remember, we focus not just on what is making headlines within the local space. We also go regional, and we're going to be focusing on what is happening in Tanzania in regard to the arrest of that particular MP to seek asylum now. He's to seek asylum, and there was a header that was going, God bless, arrested by Pombe. Now we will be giving you details of that and so much more, as well as looking at what is happening in the United States of America. Remember, Joe Biden won, but Donald Trump, the former president of the United States of America, remains put and actually is going around doing campaigns to discredit that particular process. And also it says that come next year, then he will not be immune, to prosecution, both on the legal front as well as what is happening on his use of social media. A political analyst said you have to pick between power and immunity. Immunity doesn't give you power, but power gives you immunity. We're also going to be focusing on matters of COVID-19, with revelations indicating that the world might be getting a vaccine by end of this year, which is 90% effective. All this and so much more will be coming up in the headlines in not too long. We are live. We welcome your feedback. www.kbc.co.ke. I'm Regina Manyara.
www.
Well, and kama kawaida, it's a packed show for you again this Tuesday morning. And on the other side, when it comes to roads this morning, we'll be looking at Juja Road. We won't be focusing on different activities, especially along that specific route. We'll just be focusing on the traffic flow, and then a bit also on that when it comes to Thika Super Highway. That will be your focus this Tuesday morning. And, given the fact that it's the early morning hours, so oftentimes you expect heavy traffic on this major roads, we will definitely also be trying to look at some good alternative routes, if at all there will be any, on that specific route. Many thanks for making time. My name is Doreen Arange. All right, so we want to start with that first link this Tuesday, and just as I had mentioned, we will be looking at Juja Road at least for now. So let's try and see how the traffic flow is looking like on that specific route. Earlier on, I had seen some heavy kind of build-up, especially as you leave the roundabout. Remember that again, also this is one of those roads that branches off from the major outer ring highway. Quite a number of them, especially along this highway. Quite a number of roads, major as well as some sleep roads there. Clearly, that's why the reason as to why also this outer ring highway was expanded, at least to just make it easier for residents along this specific route. But given our focus is along Juja Road, how about we start from the roundabout? And this is just the Juja roundabout as you branch off from the major highway. And look at this. I had mentioned to you that I had begun just spotting a bit of a traffic buildup, and it looks like it hasn't changed at all, because this is how it was, especially on the sections as you leave the roundabout heading through Komarok Road on the other side, and also as you leave outer ring highway on the section as it goes all the way along Outer Ring Road. And again, also traffic beginning to build up as you leave the roundabout, branching off to Juja Road. This is again, as I had mentioned, one of those busy roundabouts, but away from the roundabout, coming to Juja Road, which is our focus. In fact, just as you leave the roundabout, coming all the way with the road, there's not that heavy kind of traffic, just a bit of slight build up on the lane that is heading over from the estates and there, as you come to the city center. But the better part of this road, especially at this hour, I can just see clear ways moving at a really fast pace next to Moi Forces Academy. That's just why it's moving at a really slow pace. If you can see that red color there. And again, this is just specific to one lane as you're heading over to the city center, which is again quite expected because of the kind of activities, especially as you head over to the CBD. Away from that, still sticking with the same road, moving at a pretty fast pace. But again, also it's very important for me to mention that unlike other roads where we've been seeing a lot of activities in terms of road expansion, recarpeting, bridges being installed, drainage systems being put in place, that hasn't been quite so, especially along this route, only just for the fact that they have been at least tried to, put that roundabout around Mlango Kubwa, which we'll be looking at that in a bit. So clearly that could be the reason as to why we're not seeing that kind of heavy traffic build-up, especially along this route. But away from that area, which is around Moi Forces Academy, still coming to the city center, that is just where traffic is really building up on that specific road. But then again, this is also specific only to one lane. So again, stick around for the different traffic link-up segments that we'll be having, because, just from what you're spotting, we'll clearly be trying to look at some good alternative routes, because as of now, it doesn't really look that good on some parts. But at least as of now, this is how it's looking like in terms of traffic along Juja Road.
Good morning. Thank you. Could make time. You're watching Good Morning Kenya, and I'm Regina Manyara. Now we focus on the standard this morning, and that's how it looks like. Yeah, unlike the blue and red that we had over the last 48 hours there when the US was, doing its voting and election there. Now we focus on what we have on the front page of the Standard this morning. First, COVID-19 vaccine to offer 90% protection. Remember, Kenya is riding its second wave in as far as the coronavirus is concerned. Now, the first effective vaccine can prevent more than 90% of people from contracting the coronavirus diseases, according to preliminary analysis. Now, the vaccine has also been tested among 43,500 people in 6 countries, and no safety concerns have been raised. We'll be giving details in the course of the programming in regard to that particular story. Then we come back to the local scene where matters of BBI continue taking center stage, and quite a header here. Race to save the BBI. Now the ticker reads, President Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga cast net wide to win support for handshake report and tame allies jostling for power. Senators also push for clout, and governors want gender clause on running mates changed. Remember, it indicated that they have to be of the other gender, depending on who is running for the race. Now, pastoralists also demand additional resources to address historical injustices, while MCAs are seeking extra cash. Quite a shift there. Some will give in, some, or it's either they give in or they maintain a hardline stand. We'll be closely watching what the executive, the direction they're going to be taking. Then there's a story that had made headline, especially on social media platforms, with some nurses having bought a hearse. And most people were saying that instead of these nurses taking into account their responsibilities of saving lives, they are pushing to buy a hearse to make more business. Now, they seem to have given an answer, and this answer is on the Standard page 2 this morning. And the question and the answer is Bondo nurses have defended their decision to buy a hearse, saying they were using their savings to respond to local need and not to make profit. At the same time, 2023 is going to be quite a quagmire when we expect a double intake owing to the transition from 844 to the CBC. Now, stakeholders are going to be meeting, and this is a story that has been given in detail in page 10. That and so much more will be coming up in the headlines as we proceed, but that's what we have on the front page.
Right, now let's have a quick look at the front page of the Daily Nation. There we go, a quick glimpse of it. Main story being Raila yields to Ruto BBI demands. And this comes after yesterday he had talks with the pastoralist group to just try and see how they can iron out the issues that they have in regards to proposals that are included in the BBI report. Details of that will be coming up in a bit. At the top there, Safaricom net profit drops for the first time in 9 years due to the corona pandemic. Details of that coming up in not too long. And still in regards to matters COVID-19, the new COVID vaccine offers hope, but Kenya is cautious. This vaccine that has been jointly developed by the US and German pharmaceuticals is said to be having a 90% effectiveness when it comes to preventing COVID-19. Details of that coming up, as well as Biden now rolls up his sleeves as Trump is still in denial over his loss during this presidential elections. And Biden has gone as far as to set up a transition website called buildingbackbetter.com and a Twitter feed called @transition46, as well as the case of 2 toddlers who drowned in a river after they are said to have gone out for a casual walk with their mother about a week ago. All that and so much more coming on as we proceed on with this segment.
Let's now take you through what is happening with the Star this morning. It's all about BBI as the headline. Sorry about that. Raila now makes a U-turn in as far as the BBI amendments are concerned. That is the headline with a Star this morning. And Deputy President William Ruto now welcomes Odinga's pledge to amend the report before the referendum. This story is on pages 4 to 5 of the Star today. Also pictured on the front page of the Star is COVID-19 vaccine. I'm very sure this is good news to a majority of us, because now it's said that the COVID-19 vaccine by Pfizer and BioNTech could be out by early, if not end this year, early next year, and it has proven to be 90% effective. That story is too captured by the Star today on page 2, and I'll be giving you more details in the course of this newspaper review. Top Cohen's wife, Sarah Wairimo, now wants a drop on the murder charges and a release of her house, the furnishes, as well as 2 dogs, that is Major and Snow. She says she misses the dogs, na nataka apewe au umbwa, because that is the source of solace and comfort during these times. That story is on page 3 of the Star today. Interior Ministry flagged off unlisted births and deaths, mismanaged civil registry. I'll be giving you those details on page 6 of the Star today. Mikhail Waikenda has this to say about the BBI, that it could possibly save Kenya from the crisis that the US is currently witnessing. That story on page 20 of the Star today, as well as a gym trainer Yes, you heard me right. A gym trainer who now will be inheriting a house, land, Mercedes-Benz from a doctor's wife estate. I'll be telling you all about that on page 9 of the Star today. Yani tu trainer ametembea na nyumba, Benz, kashamba,
Buddha.
from a late doctor's wife estate. Ulisikia wapi?
Good things come to those.
Who wait?
The next time you're telling me you're going to the gym, we have to revisit. It's okay, Ray, you can take it away.
Patience pays, I think.
It does.
It does, eh?
It's about being at the right place at the right time.
It's one of those telenovela situations you usually see, or at least used to see when I used to watch soaps. Unaona the servant in the house, amekuwa true, amekuwa loyal. When the main owners of the property wakipass, na watu hiyo amekuwa kicheza away game, anarushia kakido, man.
In
Na
love
hivyo
with
tu,
Ramon.
In love with Ramon. Aya basi, let's get started. Ama vipi?
All right.
Right.
Now, Race to Save BBI. This is something, I don't know if you guys have gotten an opportunity to read the report, but now it seems that this is a merry-go-round. President Kenyatta there and ODM leader Raila Odinga have cast their net wide to win support for the handshake report and also team allies. Now, to get details in regard to that particular story that has been given prominence in the Standard this morning, just to give an overview, because we also covered that particular angle there, especially with the governors out there, the governors summit in Naivasha. Now, there is an issue here, some of the contentious issues that have been raised so far in regard to this report. Now, the composition of the executive is one, the shareable revenue in as far as the counties are concerned, how to achieve gender parity. Remember, Kenya is still grappling with the advice of CJ Maraga there to dissolve parliament over the issue of gender. Then we have the independence of institutions like the IBC and the judiciary. Then the number of constituencies and representation of the people. Remember when this debate was still taking one man, one vote, you know, such and such. Now the place of people living with disabilities also has come up. The constituency and ward development funds, as well as the equalization fund extension for 20 years, as well as the establishment of livestock marketing authority for pastoralists and land ownership. Just those are some of the contentious issues that have come up since this particular report was made public. Now, an article here in page 4 of the Standard has just given more detail in regard to that and what the executive, this is none other than President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga, intend to do to ensure that they rally support for this particular document. At the same time, counties as county heads, as the governors, are raising issues and are clashing seemingly over the gender plan in the BBI report. This is a story that has been given in detail there on page 5 of the Standard this morning. And the county bosses say that there should be freedom of choice for those seeking the top seat. Now, Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui has described the proposal to have the gender play at the governorship race as an infringement on the country's quest to attain democracy. That is page 4 and 5 of the Standard this morning in regard to what is happening within the BBI.
And still keeping up with... Before we get to have a quick look at that report that summarizes issues to do with the BBI, here on the Daily Nation, the main story there on the front page is in regards to Raila yielding to Ruto's BBI demands, as has been captured here. But getting to the details is that yesterday, former PM Raila Odinga did hint a possibility of a reopening talks in regards to the Building Bridges Initiative report. And this comes after, you know, him and his allied had shut this door when it comes to taking in more changes and opinions in regards to this particular document. But yesterday, he did meet with the Pastoralist Parliament Group, as well as the leadership of the Frontier Counties Development Development Council, where they were airing out the issues in regards to this particular document, and more so touching on revenue sharing, equalization fund, and a livestock marketing authority, given livestock is the main tool of commodity and the major part of the economy in their particular region. And still also present in that meeting was Treasury CS Ekuri Atani. There was also John Munyes, as well as the Senate Majority Leader Samuel Pugisio. And PPG chairman, that is the Pastoralist Parliament Group, the chairman, that is Alois Lentoimanga, and they said, or rather one who was representing them, Mr. Kenyon, who said, I have no doubt in my mind that our issues are going to be taken care of. We have formed a small technical team that will liaise with the BBI technical team, and I have no doubt that we will not be left out of the national conversation. And Mr. Odinga actually told them to get 3 representatives who are going to sit down with the BBI technical team to iron out these issues that they have in regards to those particular areas that we have mentioned. And speaking to this on Twitter, the DP went on to quickly respond, saying that the public commitment to amend the BBI to include those proposals, these proposals rather, is a welcome step towards a consensus. With this and other petitions being accepted, a non-contested discourse is in the horizon. Those are the words of the DP. And we also had Murkomen, who went ahead to say, well done. Glad that Raila has rescinded his earlier hardline position that the BBI will not be amended. Now, let us amend the document to capture concerns of the pastoralists, devolutionists, judiciary, as well as other groups, because we don't want an us versus them attitude. Let us reason together as Kenyans. Those were the words of one Mr. Murkomen, speaking to this development that happened after the meeting in regards to BBI talks and proposal between Raila Odinga and the pastoralist community.
Wow. Nimetoka kwa compliment ya haircut hapa hivi, so nimekwama hapo, by the way. So let's take a look at page 5 of the Star. It's all about the BBI and what a section of politicians and stakeholders demand of this document moving forward. Now, as far as the governors are concerned, this story is captured on page 5 of the Star today. They want the power to hire and fire deputies. I think this is something that was captured yesterday, still by the same paper, that is the Star. They also want to be allowed to pick their deputies after the election, okay? And they want to make the Senate, or they want the Senate made to be the upper house. And moving on to MCAs, they want a guarantee of minimum returns on agriculture. They want financial autonomy. Remember that MCAs fund, Amber Ward Representative Funds. They also want financial autonomy in as far as that is concerned, and also increase the Ward Development Fund allocation. You will find this story on the Star on page 5. As far as the pastoralists are concerned, they want a change in county revenue allocation formula. They want protection in as far as community land is concerned, and equal distribution of additional MP seats. In Wamama, this is something we spoke about yesterday during Ion Politics. They want the women reps to be retained in the National Assembly. Remember, there is this proposal to take them to the Senate. I mean, if they are representing a county, what are they doing in the National Assembly? They should be in the Senate. That is an argument that has been floated. However, the Inua Mama group wants a retain, or the women representative position to be retained in the National Assembly. They want to devise a formula devised of sharing executive jobs, as well as define how the 2/3 gender principle will be achieved in the country. Deputy President William Ruto has a raft of demands. One, he has an issue with the appointment of the Judiciary Ombudsman. He also proposes that the police should be independent, as well as political parties should not appoint IEBC commissioners. Those are some of the discussions that we are having in as far as the IEBC and the BBI is concerned, captured in earnest on page 5 of the Star today.
Our reporter Ben Chumba filed the report just putting the sound into what exactly those governors are demanding for in as far as the BBI is concerned. This is a report.
The debate on whether governors should elect women as their deputies in the gubernatorial race emerged during a meeting of governors in Naivasha to seek consensus in the BBI report ahead of the proposed referendum in June.
Let the women come out and fight it with men. Yeah, they will succeed.
The move was, however, opposed by their female counterparts who say that the clause should be allowed to sail through. Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu said the recommendation will help build capacity for women to take up leadership roles in future.
It would be very good because you start building the women capacity and they also start to learn, how to run for office, and they'll go with you so that you kind of share the strength that you have and make sure that a woman running with you can then, both of you can get elected.
However, according to a section of male governors, the BBI proposal was flawed and unconstitutional. Led by Migori Governor Okoth Obado, they noted that women should be given a chance to compete with their male colleagues on a level field.
There is a misconception that women cannot fight it on their own. That is a very, very big misconception. We have had in this country very, very powerful women who have fought and succeeded in obtaining various seats.
So long as the one shall consider, I don't see any problem with it. And because he's saying as far as possible, think deeply before you make your decision.
The governors were, however, in agreement that the document needs further amendments to capture divergent views. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
That is Ben Chumba there, just giving that report, giving it in detail. Remember, it has gotten a lot of attention on our, daily newspapers that we're focusing on this morning. This also comes, just to rope in this particular story, is that now in Nakuru, an MCA passed on after a short illness, and this is none other than Hell's Gate Member of County Assembly John Njogone, who was popularly known as Wasusi. He died. Now Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui confirmed Njogone's demise and expressed his sadness over the loss. Now, so much has been said, especially on social media, as to the cause of death. But now in this report, official report here, and the statement from the governor there, that is Mr. Lee Kinyanjui, it has not given the details in regard to what led to his demise, but says that he was someone that they remember and that he was full of life and he had a bright future ahead.
All right, now just still keeping up with that COVID conversation. This is a story that has been captured on all the dailies, I believe. Hope at last? That is the question here on the Daily Nation, as the new vaccine is termed to be 90% effective when it comes to the prevention of COVID-19. Now, this vaccine is said to be the joint efforts of a U.S. pharmaceutical giant as well as a German-based biotech firm. This particular vaccine is on its third phase of trial, and companies, this was the announcement that they actually made yesterday in regards to this particular vaccine, and this also came as the global population is actually experiencing a second wave of COVID infections, not just in Kenya, as we have been seeing in the recent time as the ministry sounded the alarm. And we have also been seeing so many states going back into lockdown situations. Others are centralized, others are nationwide lockdown situations. But we also had Health CS Kagwe yesterday say that, they will closely watch the data on the ongoing trials as they seek to pick the best vaccine for Kenyans. And we also had the acting director, Amoth, saying we express cautious optimism as the scientists analyze the data further. These two companies yesterday posted a joint statement on one of their websites saying that even as Kenya battles the second wave of this pandemic that has killed 1,130 people and infected more than 63,000, The country lost 19 more people yesterday. Of course, those were the data, the numbers that were put out yesterday by the ministry. The country also recorded 756 cases yesterday. And of the reported cases, 725, there were also 728 recoveries, as well as 645, which were from the home-based care, and 83 from hospitals. And also, according to preliminary statement findings in the COVID-19 vaccine trials, the protection in patients was achieved several days after the second of the 2 doses and 28 days after the first. So they say it is 3 doses that are going to be given collectively, but effectiveness that has been noted came after the second dose. And companies say that they're going to supply approximately 50 million vaccines globally this year, up to building up to 1.3 billion by next year. That is what has been captured here in regards to COVID-19 vaccine. Hope for the entire global population. And on that note, as it is tradition here on Good Morning Kenya, it is 7:30 a.m. We want to take a very quick breather. We'll be right back with more of what is happening on the dailies. Do stay with us. We'll be back after these messages.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Wrong?
Nothing, pumpkin.
Umwangalia ukaona hata sahii kuna kitu ambacho anaficha. Men will always have something to hide.
What are you doing?
We have to talk.
You scared the hell out of me.
You used me to get Mrs. Hortensia's head all messed up. And now you are hiding so you can avoid giving me what you promised me.
Can't you understand that I'm really tense? In love with Ramon. Next on.
See me yummy man, he me really yummy man. See me yummy man, he me really yummy man. Say ooh.
African kings and queens, and the young ones in between.
We love Majesty and we love King Selassie. 100 on the highway, I ain't taking no calls on my struggles in the rearview mirror.
We've been through this before. Once we go through this again, it would be a tragedy if we can't learn from the past.
Welcome back to the program, and thank you so much for being a part of Good Morning Kenya this far. Let's talk about COVID-19. I won't give you the figures because already my colleagues have done that, but there's a concern in Nakuru, by the way. Lee Kenyaju is saying, if we continue to treat this disease normally, I mean, areas like Subukia, Olenguruone, which are way off the main commercial arteries, have recorded coronavirus infections in alarming numbers. This is according to the governor, Lee Kenyaju. And also, you remember yesterday, ladies were talking about clubs in Nakuru and the fact that the situation is getting out of hand in as far as the clubs in Nakuru are concerned. So, and as far as COVID-19 is concerned, there is that issue in Nakuru, in Nairobi, as well as other parts of the country when it comes to the surging numbers day after day. And the Nakuru County governor now says that a concern is very much alive in that county, the numbers that they are reporting on a daily basis, and the fact that these infections now have become communal. All right? Like areas that are supposed to be way off the town are actually recording crazy numbers. And he's talked about Subukia, he's talked about Olenguruone, among a section of other areas. 68 cases, KCSE candidates, and 5 teachers in one of the secondary schools in the county. That goes ahead to just paint how dire the situation is in Nakuru in as far as COVID-19 is concerned. That is page 11 for you of the Star today.
In light of that is that a report here on the page 9 of the Standard indicates that the blind are more likely to get virus because they rely on touch, and it just gives their anxiety over the second wave of COVID-19 that the country currently is facing. At the same time, also now Nairobi, as far as the Nairobi City Hall is concerned, is that COVID strikes at City Hall as 6 are taken ill. Now, reporter Kamcha Medza compiled a story giving in detail what is happening as far as the COVID situation in the country is concerned. Here is the following report.
On the 239th day since the first COVID-19 case was confirmed in the country, 756 people have tested positive from the virus from a sample size of 4,316 in the last 24 hours. Currently, the country's caseload stands at 63,244. Nairobi County is still recording high numbers with the 371 cases out of the 756 recorded on Monday, followed by Mombasa at 82 cases. At the same time, the number of fatalities from COVID-19 is on the rise after 19 patients succumbed to the virus, bringing the total fatalities to 1,130. 728 patients were discharged over the same period, 645 from home-based care program, while 83 were in various hospitals. Total recoveries now stand at 42,659. Currently, there are 1,331 patients admitted in various health facilities across the country. 59 patients are on intensive care unit, with 16 on high dependency unit. The latest COVID-19 statistics in the country were released on a day Nakuru County Assembly was mourning the death of Hell's Gate Ward Representative John Njuguna Njenga. The MCA is reported to have passed on Monday afternoon after a short illness while undergoing treatment at Nakuru Nursing Home. Condoling with the family, county leaders raised the alarm over increasing cases of COVID-19 in the county as they warned of more stringent measures.
So it's a sad day as a Nakuru County Assembly fraternity to announce that this afternoon we lost one of our members of County Assembly who was through a short illness.
As a county, in consultation with our public health team, we will be making more restrictions in consultations also with the national government, and therefore on Thursday we will make an announcement on new containment measures for Nakuru that will affect businesses and other areas of operation.
Elsewhere in Migori County, authorities are trying to trace a health worker who who reportedly escaped from an isolation center where he had been quarantined after testing positive for COVID-19 over fears of stigmatization. The 38-year-old is said to have fled from Makalda Sub-County Hospital, which is the quarantine center in Migori County, to his rural home within Nyatike Sub-County. He was, however, traced and taken back to the facility as officials search for his contacts.
Ukisikia ati fulani yako na corona, that does not mean that the guy is going to die. We have seen also a lot of cases that have recovered, isn't it? So, any form of discrimination, wacha tuweke kando kidogo.
We've been engaging with the community. Our public health officers will be offering psychosocial support so that we accept the way it is. And so far, I want to report that a number of people have been evacuated to a treatment center. They are all asymptomatic, so there's no cause for alarm.
Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
Now, away from COVID matters, let's do a little bit of business. And I'm sure if you're residing within the suburbs or within Nairobi, you might have seen something very synonymous with most estates, a small retail shop. Now, a report here indicates that these are the new kings of retail. This is a makeshift. They are in every estate corner. They are operating from nondescript buildings, unlike big retailers that call some of the country's largest malls home. But mushrooming general shops are the new preferred shopping destinations for many Kenyans looking for a discount. This is according to an article that has been highlighted on the Financial Standard this morning. Just to get a sneak peek as to the reason why, this particular general shops are are gaining traction and eating into the market share of main retailers. It's because of the huge discounts that are there in these general shops, and Kenyans are finding it easy to just shop within their estates. One quoted here is a Faith Wanderi, who is the managing director of Nielsen East Africa and a data analytics company, said that Kenyan consumers are highly price sensitive and were always looking for deals and promotions at a given time. This answers the question of why, general shops are actually making a kill and eating into Kenya's retail market. Statistics indicate that supermarkets, where most Kenyans, 4.7% of Kenyans buy their foodstuff in the supermarkets. Then from informal sources, that is at 10.2%, kiosk 22%, open market, this is 26.6%, and the general shop takes up the huge chunk at 27.9%. This is where Kenyans prefer to buy their foodstuffs. And the question is why? The question is about, the response is because we Kenyans are price sensitive, always looking for deals. So if you want to read about where you can invest in, well, the general shop looks like an ideal, investment that you can get into. 27.9% of retail market share.
All right. And speaking of business, Kenya now has been voted as a top tourist destination, and this came yesterday as it was announced virtually from the World Travel Awards that were happening in England yesterday, the 27th edition of this particular awards, where they ranked Kenya as Africa's leading tourist destination in 2020. Given all we have seen so far, coming on top of this list is we're doing good as a country. Now, some of the areas that were cited to be the reasons as to why Kenya was ranked as the top tourist destination in Africa include were termed as its cocktail of epic savanna landscapes, immense herds of wildlife, and palm-fringed beaches. The Masai Mara Game Reserve, the Samburu National Reserve, Shimba Hills National Reserve, Sweetwaters Game Reserve, and the Savo National Park were just but a few of what was named as the country's top destinations. And this also comes as the sector has experienced the worst of this pandemic. Nairobi was also named as Africa's leading business travel destination, while the Kenyatta International Convention Center won Africa's leading what's this title? Yes, won Africa's leading meetings and conference center award. Nairobi is said to have beat its closest competition, that was Cape Town, yes, which was named Africa's leading festival and event destination site. What else do we have here? The results also follow a year-long search for the world's top travel, tourism, and hospitality brands. This is such encouraging news, given the tourism and hospitality industry and the creative industry are the industries that are said to have suffered the harshest effects of COVID-19. And just looking at the hospitality sector, Fairmont Hotel, Fairmont Mount Kenya Safari Clubs, Crab's unique comfort and the shadows of Mount Kenya helped it to clinch Africa's leading hotel title, while the Saxon Hotel, Villas and Spas in South Africa was named the leading boutique hotel. So we are doing good as a country. Let us appreciate the beauty, what has been termed as an epic cocktail of sites here in Kenya. Good job to us as a country.
And we're still doing that trip, by the way. Sindio, si tunatembea Kenya December.
The one that you were questioning about the sleeping quarters arrangement, that particular one, I thought we shelved it.
Why are you chomaing?
Insecure. Let it come out clearly that you are not comfortable going on a holiday with the three of us as ladies. So we really don't know where your issues are coming from. We'd want them
left.
Rest easy.
Minimal left. But rest easy. We shall travel. We will. Come December. We lazima tutembe Kenya.
Yes.
So I'll take a sneak into what's happening in as far as business is concerned and coverage of that on the Star today. Centum's $2 billion housing project has now been launched at Two Rivers. That story has been captured on page 14 of the Star today, and there is a crackdown on betting entities as they eat into Safaricom's earnings. And half-year transactions from betting dropped to 49.2 billion from 83 billion last year. But of course, you know, a majority of these betting firms were shut sometime early last year, so that could have affected that. Tuskeg's bounce back is not certain, and it requires a lot of capital. This is what analysts are now saying, as well as the global stock markets are beginning to blink green as Joe Biden now heads for the White House. And talking about Joe Biden, why is it that China and Russia bado hawajamtumia congratulatory messages? Ladies, what's happening? China and Russia wamenyamazia tu your story.
Yeah.
Hawamwambi congratulations for.
Let's wait and see.
Or is it?
We're still seeing global leaders coming up to send their.
Hata mimi nataka kutweet, by the way. Sija tweet bado, lakini congratulations.
Let's give them time.
Job.
Let's wait and see.
Have you ever encountered one of those moments where number congratulations? On your achievement. So China and Russia have not done that, and as far as the world dynamics are concerned, when it comes to power,
of course, raising
that's
eyebrows.
A statement. Sindio, lakini rea kishatuma yake ni hivyo.
And you're not type.
And you're not type,
At Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Congrats, my guy. You guy, my guy.
At Kamala_Harris.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the new handle at Transition46.
I am really typing that.
That's the new website that they have launched, buildingbackbetter.com, and Twitter it's at Transition46.
And you realize the social media platforms are shift. Have you noticed that? Like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, their profiles on social media shift sasa. President-elect, vice president-elect, and all that in March. Well, January will be an interesting month. I mean, it's always interesting because it's my birthday month, but I mean, 2021 will be more interesting because the world will have two things to celebrate. That is myself and this presidency.
Absolutely.
Haujasikia hiyo nimesema?
I've chosen to ignore.
Intentionally.
I've chosen to focus on serious matters. When I say serious, I'm
My
talking
feelings.
about matters of education.
Why? Are you going to be that mean?
There goes
Now
your
we are talking about matters education. And the stakeholders are going to be converging this morning just to try and tackle the, transition issue, because we expect in 2023 to have a double intake owing to the transition from the 844 system to the CBC. Now, the Cabinet Secretary there, Professor George Magoha, is going to be meeting stakeholders. Details are there contained in the Standard this morning. And now, still keeping up with matters of education, remember, KBC has also been at the front line and is offering, services, classes through radio as well as television during this time when most learners are at home. And also, newspapers have not been left behind. This morning, we have, the KCP and KCSE model papers. And I'd want to challenge my colleagues on set this morning, and the producers, Martin and Ben, can also answer this question. It's a KCP science question. Which one of the following, and also you viewer, remembering that we are live, you can send in your response. Then tomorrow we can check if you're right or wrong. The question reads, which one of the following statements is not true about a wind vane? Which one of the following statements is not true about a wind vane? A, the arrowhead shows the direction from which the wind blows. B, it works on the principle that matter occupies space. C, it should be placed high up in a building. D, the tall and arrowhead are made of a metallic sheet. And we understand that our guest this morning is a teacher by profession, so she can actually answer for us this question live from Embu County. That is none other than Dr. Joan Mwende. For the sake of our guest this morning, let me take that question again. It is KCP Science. And the question reads, Sam amesaidika because he didn't know even what a wind vane is. So, which one of the following statements is not true about a wind vane? Option A, the arrowhead shows the direction from which the wind blows. B, it works on the principle that matter occupies space. C, it should be placed high up a building. D, the tail and arrowhead are made of metallic sheets. I repeat, which is not true about a wind vane? Introducing our guest.
Dr. Joan Mwende, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We are glad to have you. We are sorry to start you with a quiz, but it is what it is.
I feel very vulnerable, by the way.
Yes.
You're split, Manze.
I think my answer would be A. Not too sure.
How about we introduce an option E? None of the above.
None of the above.
And we just run with that.
Dr. Joan, maybe you could enlighten us. Maybe we could all be wrong here.
Could we also have another option like all of the above?
All of the above.
I like that. I like that.
Smart move.
That's
You're a smart woman. Thank you for that. Hey, Regina. Unapandisha damu.
And on that note, I think you take it away, Jay. In our next conversation, we will be sampling your responses in the course of this program. And if you cannot send in your responses, well, we can meet tomorrow. Our Twitter handle is very much active at KBC Channel 1 News, and at Ray Manyara, at Jane Womboy, and at Sam Dablin Joroge, as well as Doreen Arange.
All right, thank you for that. And with that, we've just come to the end of In the Headlines and straight into the next segment, Women at the Forefront, seeing what the great women of Kenya are doing to build this great country. And as you have already seen, our guest this morning is Dr. Joan Mwende, the county minister in charge of trade and tourism, as well as investments and industrialization. Karibu tena sana, Dr. Joan. We're glad to have you with us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane.
Absolutely.
How's Nairobi?
All right. Now, we just want to have a quick conversation about your docket and how things are doing. You know, we are just still smack in the middle of this pandemic, and the tourism is one of the industries that have been worst hit by this pandemic. And even seeing in the dailies today, you know, Kenya has been voted as a top tourist destination. But let's just understand how the situation is in Embu County. How are things doing?
Thank you, Jane. Embu County, the land of opportunities. I'd like to begin by appreciating my boss, His Excellency, the Governor Martin Nyaga Wambora, for assigning me to this docket. It's a great docket. Tourism in Embu County, I would say, is taking very well. A great time during this period of COVID. Even though everybody has been saying things have slowed down, everything is so low, at least we've had opportunities to engage, we've had opportunities to think through, we've had opportunities to host some of the major tourism players in this country.
Yes.
A few weeks ago, we hosted 54 tour companies, all from Nairobi, and from that, their visit, which was a 2-day visit, we have seen our tourism begin to rise.
Yes.
Now back to our tourism sites. As you know, Embu is a land of opportunities. And those opportunities, many of them are found in tourism. I know many Kenyans might not know that Embu was also host to Mau Mau movement.
Yes.
We've got lots and lots of caves that were utilized or that were used by the Mau Mau, and these are beautiful tourism attraction sites. Embu County is agricultural. Our tea,
yes,
our coffee, they rate very highly on the global market. We are home to macadamia nuts, and I think we are one of the biggest growers of macadamia in Africa, not just in Kenya. Embu County is land of avocado. Right up now, we are looking value addition for avocado, and we want to make it one of our major tourism attractions. Now, coming to natural sceneries, Embu County, we are blessed to have a big national game reserve called Moya.
Yeah.
Moya Game Reserve is a sleeping giant, but I'd like to say we boast of more elephants than those at the national park itself. Embu County has 2 of the big 5. We have the buffalo and we have the elephant, all at the Moya Game Reserve.
Yes.
And for those Kenyans who have not been to Mbere south of Embu, we have a beautiful beach called Kinara. Kinara Beach has a spot, an island. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And when you're there, you overlook Ithanga Hills. We are also home to the shortest route to Mount Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Through Embu.
Yes.
You get to Mount Kenya very easily, especially if you don't like much exercise. You can get Mount Kenya without much sweat. We are just 22 kilometers to Mount Kenya through the southern route. And while you use that route, you'll be able to come across the Karls Lakes, 3 lakes in a row. Very, very beautiful. Embu County is boasting right now of being the only county with a wild swing that is the biggest in Africa. We have a zip line. All these located at our camp called Camp Ndunda. Ndunda means fruits. Embu County, definitely the land of opportunities. We are home to very many waterfalls. In fact, the other day we were counting and we said they're countless. Beautiful waterfalls. And that tells you that we don't have water shortage in Embu. Kiremeri Hills, Karo Hills. We are full of hills, beautiful, and beautiful stones, sacred stones. And did you know that Embu also has a natural bridge? We call it the Bridge of God. Across the river.
I like the pride that is oozing as you speak of all these gems in Embu County. It goes to speak so much about the work that you guys are doing.
Yes. So we also recently decided to invest part of our tourism in arts, fine arts. Our youth in Embu County have come together and they have started something called Mwegunye Arts. Mwegunye means shade in English.
Take that again.
For these young people, Mwegunye.
Mwegunye.
Yes, Mwegunye.
All right.
Mwegunye is shade.
Okay.
And in this, youths in Embu County are doing beautiful work, beautiful artwork. They're doing portraits. They're doing all sorts of artistic creations.
Yes.
Of course, I cannot forget to talk about our talent center, talent academy, the one and only in this country. Thank you to His Excellency Martin Nyaga Wambora, because this is his vision.
Yes.
And at the Talent Academy, we bring talent from all over the county, and we nurture that talent through our very refined artists.
Yes.
And I'd like here to just talk about some of the
All right, that is Dr. Joanne Mwende. Fidi mehan kidogo tu, but she will be right back. Remember, she is the county minister in charge of trade and tourism, as well as investment and industrialization in Embu County. Talking about her docket, of course, so much pride oozing from just her expressions as she states, the beautiful gems that are there in Embu County. One of my directors saying that Embu is the land of opportunity, and it to Martin. And so Embu is the land of opportunity. Of course, we'll be getting back with her in not too long to understand the state of tourism and also just trying to find out the opportunities that lay in sight for Embu residents when it comes to building up on those tourist attraction destinations and seeing the opportunities that they have as residents of Embu to try and build their businesses. Of course, looking at investments and industrialization, which are in line with the Big Four agenda, given we are still on this pandemic wave, trying to recover from the damage that this pandemic has caused as a country, and also on the economy here in Kenya. And also this coming on the background that Kenya has been voted as a top destination in Africa by the World Travel Awards that were happening yesterday virtually from England, the 27th edition of this particular awards. Kenya emerged top in Africa due to its cocktail of epic sites across the country. And clearly from that conversation with Dr. Joanne, Embu is one of those particular places that keeping our country on the global map. And of course, she's mentioned some of those tourist sites, the destinations, that attract people to Embu County. She has mentioned the immense number of falls that they have in that particular area, countless, as she has put in her own words. The Mwea Game Reserve, she has termed it as a sleeping giant. But of course, as a county, they are working to revive this sleeping giant. And also the Mount Kenya Eastern route, the shortest routes to getting to Mount Kenya are also in this particular county. All that and so much more coming up as we continue with this conversation about the tourist opportunities in Embu County, as well as addressing the challenges that have come on the back of COVID-19. Do stay with us. We'll be right back with Dr. Joanne in not too long. The hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya. At KBC Channel 1 is our official station handle. My handle is the Genuine Boy. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
road to the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations brings us home to another exciting qualifier where Harambee Stars host the Colasantes of Comoros Wednesday, the 11th of November at Kasarani.
And that goal! And it is a goal! Coming up exactly 34 minutes, Johanna Omolo.
Watch it live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 at 7 p.m. as we continue to showcase Africa's best on your true sports partner.
Yote ndawaidu iko tu sawa kwa macho yako.
Unataka kuwapo?
Ati nini? Why are you people shouting?
Are you okay?
Mwanamke ninakuona sana. Ni wanaume hapa Mombasa wameisha.
Ni nini mbaya? Nowadays we have so many unfaithful people.
What?
We need to talk about her every time we are together.
And be very careful the way you address me.
Zako zinakuangaje? Huwezi kaa dakika mbili hata bila kuteta.
You will all sign new contracts.
And I am supposed to be briefed.
What? Taki ujinga.
Oof.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Purushottam. Whose entire truth is known to me.
Come here in desperate times with great hopes. Listen, I have been told that no one other than you can help me. Help me, please do not decline.
You haven't even figured out my plan yet.
You have learned about my plan now.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Huwa umekaa unakaa guilty vile ulikuwa na zile file na ukawa unazificha.
You are going to regret it. Naona ni kama unaweza kunifanya kama mmoja hizo project zako small na mimi sifurahi hiyo story.
Girlfriends do stuff for their boyfriends all the time.
Decent people call to cancel on you. Well, I'm glad we didn't meet because you're obviously a waste of time.
All right, welcome back. I'm General Boy. Glad you are still with us. Hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. At KBC Channel 1 is the official station handle. And also joining us via Zoom, we are back with Dr. Joanne Mwende, the County Minister in charge of Trade and Tourism, Investments and Industrialization as well. Karibu sana. Sorry for these technical hitches. They happen. This is live TV. We appreciate the times as they come.
Yes.
All right. Now, just getting back to that conversation, and given all these gems that are in Embu County, maybe you could tell us a bit about the opportunities that are there in terms of the business community for the Embu residents when it comes to tapping into all these destination sites to be able to make a living, especially as we try to come on the other end of this pandemic.
Thank you, Jane. Now, before I talk about business per se,
okay,
I'd like to talk about our other attraction, the film The Medicine Man. And before we went off, I was just beginning to talk about our collaboration with the Kenya Film Commission, which I would like to really pass my sincere appreciation. Embu
Oh man, hii link inatuangusha leo. But tumsijali, sisi ni wale wase. We're going to get back with it. Ipende isipende. We are going to conclude this particular discussion with Dr. Joanne Mwende, all about the opportunities that lay in Embu County for the business community. Joanne, are you back with us? There we go.
Yes, I'm right here. Thank you.
All right, take it away.
We are hosting the movie or film called The Medicine Man. It's a premiere movie. And this movie it's in the cooking, a movie produced by one Betty Kavungu, who was recently honored by His Excellency, the President. So that is also a tourism attraction. I keep saying that even individuals in themselves can be tourism attractions. Now, Embu County is a very peaceful county. And I would like to thank the people of Embu County for maintaining peace, and more specifically, our county commissioner and his team for, maintaining and sustaining that peace through his, he has a very interesting slogan. He says, ukitaka kufanya ushenzi usifanye Embu County. Now back to trade.
Residents.
Embu County has very many business opportunities. I have just talked about the Medicine Man film. Through this film, we have seen a lot of youth employed. And for information, The Medicine Man is a movie in Kiambu for those who love local languages. It's in Kiambu, but we make it available for those who don't like local languages also, or who might not be proficient in local language. We are doing a lot of value addition through our agricultural products. That is one of the areas where I have found a lot of business coming up. Of course, we have the traditional businesses. We have factories, we have other number of businesses. But let me also say that we are coming up with a number of factories. We're in the process of working on a couple of factories. We're looking at a pottery factory, which we are trying to establish somewhere in Ishera for women, so that we can put some money in the pockets of women. Beautiful work, beautiful pottery is coming up at Ishera. Okay. Then we are looking at value addition for macadamia, value addition for coffee, value addition for tea. We have value addition. We are also value adding very soon on fish and on tomatoes. That is coming up also in Beira South. Allow me to say that Embu is also a very big producer of mogoka, and there has been conversations in low tones about value addition of that as well. And so, yes.
All right. And
this is what we're doing.
Speaking of value addition, just also considering the residents when it comes to them trying to set up shop and keep the businesses going to just maintain the economy of the county, maybe in regards to skills and also looking at credit, maybe what are the priorities for your docket when it comes to looking at these particular areas, more so skills and credit, just try and build on the choice destination, the investment and industrialization in Embu County?
Thank you, Jane. One of the things we are focusing on right now is building capacities, building skills for tour guides, building skills for the entire spectrum of tourism or along tourism. We are also looking at supporting the local businesses. We, in collaboration with our Chamber of Commerce here, we have had engagements and discussions around how to make our businesses better. And here we're talking about improving skills around customer care, improving skills around data management, utilization of IT, etc., etc. But we're also very closely working with the Keproba to get some of our products onto the export market or into the international market. Recently, actually, team was here, a very big team, and thank you to Proba for finding time to come to Embu. They toured different places, different factories. They toured our businesses, and they were able to pick a couple of them for the export market. And therefore, this is how this department and the county government in general is supporting business. Apart from that, considering that we've been through some challenging times, owing to COVID-19 pandemic, we have also been very lenient to our business people, and we do know that some of them have gone through tumultuous times and they were not able to come up or to do business as they would have ordinarily. And therefore, the county has been very kind, very gracious, considering some of the, we're trying to see how to even lift to some of the businesses that had fallen. And that's how we are right now partnering with the Small and Medium Enterprises Authority. And we are trying to revive some of the businesses, some of the factories that had gone down our markets. You recall that a couple of months ago, we lost our market. We had a fire outbreak at our main market, and we are still trying to reconstruct. But I want to thank the residents of Embu County because they have also been very cooperative. They have tried to support even the business community that was involved in this or that was affected in that disaster. I thank the Embu County Professionals Development Association.
Yes.
And Dr. Kibaru. That association has been very instrumental in supporting our business people through mentorship, apprenticeship, and through also providing some of the services at concessional rates. And so thank you so much to the Embu County Professional Development Association under the leadership of Dr. Kibaru. I want to pay special attention to our health facilities and particularly our Embu Teaching and Referral Hospital.
Yeah.
Thanks to God that COVID-19 has hit other counties so badly, but God has spared us of that problem. Our facilities are up. They are part of some of the best in this county. And Embu Teaching and Referral Hospital has very well equipped facilities, and it has also become one of our tourism attractions because we do brain surgery, and I think we have done more brain surgeries in this country than all the other hospitals put together. I would like to say kudos to our health staff at Embu Teaching and Referral Hospital, especially to Dr. Mugendi, who is the key brain surgeon in this county and one of the best in the country.
All right.
So if you want to visit Embu County, have no worries, no fears. We have security, we have good health facilities, and we have beautiful people in Embu County. I'm sure, Jane, you know that. Embu people are beautiful people. Our culture, our dramas from very north are some of the best in the region. Actually, our dramas were picked as the best dramas in Kenya by UNESCO during their event in 2018. Yeah. So you will enjoy so many our food, our dramas, our dances. We have everything. That's why we are still the land of opportunities, number one.
I think that is the tagline for Embu County, the land of opportunities. And at that point, there isn't much I can add to that. I cannot even ask you to give us your closing remarks, as you have already done that on behalf of Embu residents. But thank you so much for making time to be with us this morning. We wish you the absolute best as you endeavor to make Embu County the hub that you intend to make it by 2022. That is Dr. Joanne Mwende, the County Minister in charge of Trade and Tourism, as well as Investments and Industrialization. Of course, these are conversations we will keep having as we proceed on with the days here on Good Morning Kenya, keeping you up to date with all that is happening across the country, and mostly looking at the different counties, how they have been adjusting to this tough COVID-19 times. As you have heard from her, Hard County specifically when it comes to tourism, they have looked at ways through which they can partner with other dockets to just make sure that the county still stands and the people are not as hard hit as they try to come out on the other end of this tough times that this pandemic has thrown us into. That is what we are here to keep you up to date with all that is happening across the country. And we have so much more lined up for you in terms of interviews. But before we get to do that, a quick break as we get to have a look at what is happening across the different roads. Do stay with us. The hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya.
Traffic link this Tuesday, and I was just looking at the roads, and I can tell you for a fact, especially along Mombasa Road, wow, there's really heavy gridlock on that specific route, simply because, you know, of the ongoing race. But I'll be showing you those images in a bit. But before we get to do all of that, I just want us to start from this specific area. This is actually, again, Jogo Road. If you can't remember that today, actually, our focus will be on Juja Road, but we're just trying to look at different roads, try to see what is happening, you know, as they come. Now, this is how the situation has been like since early morning. In fact, since around 6:30 a.m., this is how it has been looking like along Jogo Road. Heavy traffic on this specific route it has become very difficult even for motorcycles, because, you know, majorly along this route, there's no that presence of the non-motorized transport system, which at least is inclusive of both pedestrian walkways and cyclist lanes. And that's why oftentimes they keep saying that, you know, whatever road that is being reconstructed or any road that has been earmarked for reconstruction, it is very important for this non-motorized transport system to be put in place, at least, you know, to make it easy for cyclists. Because look at this, just look at this image. There's a cyclist, you know, just trying to navigate in between, and you can imagine trying to navigate in between with this kind of heavy traffic makes it even more difficult for them. Now, this is how it has been looking like since early morning, and the sad part is that this is actually still how it's looking like even as of now. This is along Jogo Road. But before, you know, I tell you more about what is happening on this specific route and the reason as to why there's this kind of heavy traffic, how about we go back to what is our focus today, which is traffic along Juja Road. And look at that, things have changed to the worst. If you can remember, earlier on, at least it was a bit manageable, at least it was a bit smooth sailing, but now things have changed altogether. Throughout the entire roundabout is not that bad. In fact, throughout the entire roundabout, this is actually just before you branch off to Juja Road as you leave Outer Ring Highway. The roundabout is looking good because at least it's green all through, except on some specific parts. And this is actually as you branch off to the other side of Outer Ring, going all the way to Thika Super Highway. That's just where there's a bit of a traffic, but on major parts through the entire roundabout, it is quite manageable, and, you know, green all through, indicating that it's just clear ways. However, as you branch off from the roundabout, that is just where things begin to get worse. Thick traffic all through. In fact, as you leave the roundabout, still coming all the way with Juja Road, and this is again specifically as you leave that roundabout, heading all the way to the city center. What that means that as you leave the estates, coming all through, not moving at all. Now, this is again one of those roads that branches off from Outer Ring Highway. Actually, as you leave Jogo Road, where there's actually been there has been heavy traffic since early morning, and it looks like the same situation is being replicated also along Juja Road. And this is actually what is happening on this specific route, and things are not changing at all. You know, oftentimes you keep saying that traffic changes every single minute, so it just means that in 1 minute it could be worse, at least in the next minute things are opening up. But on this specific one, Nothing is opening up. So this is just how it's looking like. Heavy traffic all through, and it's at a standstill. So it means for the residents along Juja Road, then they'll have to make do with this traffic. Only unless if you're past the Pangani intersection. But all through, as you leave the roundabout, as you leave Outer Ring Highway, as you leave Komarok Road, if at all you're going to the city center, if at all you're going about your businesses or even workstation, then I can tell you for sure you will have to make do with this traffic. And this is just how it's looking like all the way from the roundabout as you come past Moi Forces Academy, past Moi Air Base, coming all the way to the city center. Things are not changing at all. This is actually how the situation looks like. But how about we look at this, the new roundabout? There was none actually, but at least, with what has been happening on major roads in terms of expansion, recarpeting, these roads, at least this one got, this roundabout, and this is one around Mlango Kubwa. It also branches on the other side as you head over to Thika Super Highway. And again, this part, this area also oftentimes becomes a very good alternative route for those that come from Thika Road, if at all you don't want to do with the traffic, especially past Muthaiga, before Muthaiga, coming all the way to the city center. Again, on this specific road there, doesn't really look that bad. Also around the roundabout, this is actually around Mlango Kubwa roundabout, just before you get to Pangani, again, one of those other areas which also serves as a good alternative routes. So also around the roundabout doesn't really look that bad. So actually where there's really heavy kind of traffic on this specific route is all the way from the other roundabout, which is actually where Juja Road begins, coming all through. Just when you're near Lango Kubwa area, that is actually where there's heavy kind of traffic. So what we'll do probably next is I'll be telling you the reason as to why there's that kind of heavy traffic along Jogord, as well as try to look at some alternative routes for those applying Juja Road. This early morning hour, given the fact that it's not looking good at all, especially just from that stretch where the road begins all the way till the next roundabout. But at least as of now, this is how it's looking like on our roads in terms of traffic. Our focus still being on Juja Road.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
This week on Wake Up and Makeup, it's going to be a girly girl affair. Cheers! We continue to munch on what I would call a starter before our main course at Chef Uz Sushi Bar. This is what makes the coffee so special. We actually have a real gold leaf. Wow. I don't think we should drink it. We should probably gather it and take it to Can I make a ring out of it? We can make a cargo. Get some tips on how to enjoy a day's out with the girls.
She's so expensive, okay.
Shine already, it's time already. Align already, it's time already.
Make I tell you what you looking for a bullet. Baby, tell me this your body, body, yeah.
Back it up right away, yeah, right away, right away.
Gang, rada chafu nikishikaga, hizo chafu bana shika shash, pale bedroom kila siku bash, hini lynch ndaki kumba.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
How could you even think of leaving your mother alone there? Don't you see, your mother could have wandered out into the streets or somewhere else.
How could I help him escape when I have problems running my own life?
Tell that to the police when they come looking for you. Oh my. He's dead. He's already dead. Because of her, I had to leave Tijuana. Because of her, I got kidnapped. And because of her, I lost Fabiola Valente. Hey! Hey! Help me! Hey!
But swear to me you won't say anything to anyone. Because if you tell anyone, Francisco will send me to prison.
El paraíso conocimos.
With Ramon. Next on.
See me yummy man, he me really yummy man. See me yummy man, he me really yummy man. Say ooh.
African kings and queens, and the young ones in between.
We love Majesty and we love King Selassie. 100 on the highway, I ain't taking no calls on my struggles in the rearview mirror. That's the burn.
We've been through this before. Once we go through this again, it would be a tragedy if we can't learn from the past.
Welcome back. Glad you are still with us. The hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. At Jane Wambui is my handle, and our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1 News. Do talk with us. Share with us your questions, comments, or any clarifications that you may be needing in regards to these conversations that we are having here this morning. The first discussion looking at state of tourism, and now we are on to our health segment for the day. And today we're going to be continuing with our series of conversations around mental health, and more so narrowing into depression today. Just looking at some stats that were put up by the World Health Organization, 1 in every 13 adults across the world experiences one major depressive episode before they turn 75. This translates to approximately 300 million people worldwide. Of this population, women are said to be at twice as likely a risk when it comes to experiencing these depressive episodes. And also a stat that I found to be a bit, scary is that depression is also a leading cause of disability after accidents. And these are global stats, and these are things that are happening across the world, Kenya being involved in this conversation. And we just want to keep having this conversation around mental wellness, mental health, addressing these issues as they come, to just try and have a population that is healthy to be able to function and go about our dailies, with a peaceful state of mind, so it can be as productive as you would like to be in whatever space that you find yourself in. Now, to help us with this conversation this morning in studio, we have with us Anastasia Kihwaga. She is a counseling psychologist as well as an author. Karibu sana, Anastasia.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us this morning. And maybe you could start by giving us social media handles so that our viewers can also get to interact with you on that platform and, ask questions or clarifications that they may be needing.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jane Wambui. It's a pleasure to be in show with you.
Karibu sana.
My name is Anastasia Kihwaga, as you've been told. I'm a counselor psychologist. I'm also a certified mediator, and I'm also I'm an author. I've authored a book, Value of Self-Identity. I'm also a pastor. My husband and I pastor a church called Divine Glory Church in Kayole. And I'm a mother of 3. I want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk about mental wellness.
Yes.
And I want to say that when you're mentally well, you can function well.
But what do you mean when you talk about mental wellness? Because sometimes we take it so casually. As long as you wake up today and you feel you're okay, then you're good. Your state of mental being is good.
Yes.
Mental wellness, what does it encapsulate?
Okay, mental wellness basically means how you feel, you're feeling good, then how you function, and how you behave. It tangles around those 3 areas.
Okay.
You're feeling, and feelings touches on the mood. The feeling touches on how the way you act and react, and also the way you behave. if you find that you're moody and you're feeling sad and you're feeling like you're down, those that you're depressed or you're down, but persistent, there is that normal. Sometimes you wake up very tired because maybe you had a bad day or a bad night, but there are those persistence. Sometimes you feel you don't want to sleep, you don't want, or you sleep more. We call them being hypersomnia, sleeping too much, or insomnia, whereby you lack sleep.
Okay.
So when you don't function well in terms of your feeling, when you don't function well in terms of your behavior, when you don't function well in terms of the way you act or react, that's a red flag.
Okay.
You need to ask yourself, something is not well.
There could be an issue when it comes to your mental well-being.
Yes.
And now comes the issue to do with depression. We use this term so loosely, so casually. So I feel niko depressed, and sometimes we don't really understand the extent to which some of these terminologies may mean, and the medical implications that are involved. So when we talk about depression, from a professional point of view, what does it mean?
Depression is a mood disorder. That one is something that we need to take note of. It's a mood disorder, and it affects how we think. It also affects the brain. If it's a mood disorder, meaning there is that imbalance, chemical imbalances in the brain. And that is why we have different types of depression. We may not talk about them all, but
maybe you may just mention them.
Yes, you have unipolar, you have bipolar, you have, those are some of the depressive disorders that we have.
Okay.
And they may come along with anxiety disorders. They may come along with personality disorders. There's something we call GAD, generalized anxiety disorders. All those ones, they may be reflecting if somebody is depressed.
Okay.
But again, I say depression is a mood disorder. It really affects your brain. And if it affects your brain, if you're not functioning well in terms of your brain, your brain function is not functioning well, then the other function of the body, if your mind is not working, I've always told myself and I've always told people that the worst thing to lose in this world is to lose your mind.
Imagine.
And losing your mind meaning you're not functioning well in terms of the mind. Therefore, that is where you find that somebody who is depressed, sometimes they are high, like bipolar. It's one of the worst things, because bipolar, sometimes you find somebody is high in terms of the mood swing. Sometimes they are very low.
Extreme.
You'll find that when they are high, they will start functioning very well. They will plan a day. Their hyper allows to do things in a normal way, and you think they're okay. The next minute, like after 2 days or after some days, they get very low. They don't want to talk to you. Somebody will tell you, please, they switch off their phone, and it's like they don't want anything to do with people because it has lows and high. Why? Because it's a mood disorder, and it affects the brain. And the brain functioning, when the brain is not functioning well, it affects every other part of the body. Meaning you cannot be able to you cannot be productive in terms of even working. That is why you see when people are, and that is why you've said, Jane, that people should not use these words casually, because being stressed and being depressed, those are two different things.
Completely.
Because the stressors, they might be triggers, the day-to-day, we are normal human being, and the daily life, it is affecting us. I may be having a bad day today, and I feel stressed. That's normal. It's normal to feel like, and it's okay not to feel okay. And I think we need to unfold that word.
Normalize that conversation.
Because we need to know that sometimes you may have a day, not all these, like people talk of Monday blues. I don't know if you get the mambo.
Yes, sunshine always.
Wow, that's nice. So you may get a bad day.
Yes.
And you feel stressed. Even at the point, sometimes like this time of COVID-19, people have lost job, people have lost loved one, and people have lost businesses. Your status has been lost. Even at the point whereby you get divorced or you get a separation in terms of relationship, you may get stressed. But it can only persist if it is persistent. And it precipitates that you're able to see the signs of depression. Maybe that is not depression. Maybe you're just stressed. But it's quite unfortunate if you don't take care of it. And that is why we talk of self-care in terms of mental health. If you don't take care of it, it prolongs, and it can end up being a depression. Therefore, it's good to take care of it early, not to prolong, because the persistence of it, as I've said, some of the signs of depression is hypersomnia. Somebody may tend to sleep so much, insomnia. They lack sleepless nights. Somebody must induce something in terms of a pill or something to be able to sleep. Then sometimes they get very sad, and sometimes they get headaches. And those headaches may prolong and become migraine.
Okay.
And they also don't have interest on something. And sometimes they get interest. You say it the way we said about the highs and the lows. They get interested in something, like if it's a married couple, they get interested, they lose interest in sex, and some may gain interest in sex. So you find it's something that it's those persistent. It's not like it's a persistent thing whereby you're getting these signs like
over
today.
Over
a prolonged period of time.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you've mentioned some of the classic signs that are clear indicators of a mental space that is a bit compromised, could be stress, could be depression, or another form of mental illness. But, we also have people who experience different non-common signs and symptoms, but they do not know that this could be pointing to depression or any other mental illness. And maybe you could talk a bit about, some of the less commonly known and understood signs that could be pointing towards depression, because we casually hear people saying, "Naja mimi nakuanga stress eater, leo nimekula sana, nimekula ice cream mingi."
Yes.
And we just say ni stress eating. But could it be one of those less talked about or understood signs that point towards depression?
Yes. Sometimes, I am loving because sometimes when you're depressed, sometimes you get that you become a lover of food. You're more interested to eating food, and some lack interest to eat food. So also it affects our eating habits in terms of it becomes like an eating disorder, whereby there are people who get comfort. Once you feel that you're not functioning well in terms of your brain, and there is that chemical imbalances in the brain, sometimes everybody wants the numbness of the body. You want to ease some
sense of comfort.
Yes, you want to ease that uncomfortability within you. People don't know what you're going through in terms of the way you are behaving, but they don't know what you're going through. And because of those anxiety and those issues that you're developing within yourself, you want to numb them by getting a comfort out of getting something, like you get somebody will eat so much of ice cream or something, or sweet food, sugary food, just to ease the discomfort that is within them. It's quite unfortunate that we never get to realize those signs. Some may go off food. They don't eat, and that is why you find, so when people are depressed, some get very thin because they don't want to eat, because food no longer entices them, and some eat a lot and they may grow big. Please don't judge, because one of the things that we need to create awareness in our society, we have created something we call a social stigma. It's allowed mental health. It's like, I want to say that mental health, it's like any other disease. And if you can take care, if I get an illness, if my tooth is aching, I'll go and see a dentist. If my head is aching, I'll go see a doctor. The same thing. We need to take care of our mental issues. When you find that things are not working right, this has not been me. I'm not. My behavior today, it's not. I am not behaving the way I have always done it. Something might be very wrong. The triggers. Maybe sometimes you get annoyed very quickly. It was unlike you. Sometimes you get very sad. Always being sad. Those sadness, prolonged sadness. You feel very sad. You feel awkward being with people. Some people want to isolate themselves. Sometimes you feel suicidal, and it's a red flag, and you've seen it in the social media. When you see somebody lighting, please let's not ignore, because some people are lighting very carelessly and saying, how do you want to perform this? How do you want to execute your suicidal? How do you want to execute your homicide? And you find that somebody tells somebody, go and do it, and they end up doing it. You've seen?
That reminds me of a story of this young 21-year-old boy on social media who actually documented his entire day up until committing suicide. He was just talking about reminiscing the old days, taking pictures, saying last view for the day, last view for my life, last meal, last supper. So casually, and guys are like, oh, awesome, nice picture. Nini nini, up until he threw himself in a river and drowned. And he actually documented that live. And this also points to the issue of awareness levels among the population. Do you feel it's still a conversation we don't give as much priority and seriousness as it deserves, because we still have just corridor conversations about it, but we can't sit as a group and consciously decide to talk about our mental well-being?
I think it's true, Embu. We need to really create awareness, like basic. We may not talk about the major issues in terms of depression, but basically we need to create awareness in terms of drawing sensitization of what is mental wellness, because this one affects the young, the middle-aged, and even the old. And that one, it's a pointer that maybe that boy that you're talking about, he was stressed for some time. But when people see that somebody's talking about themselves and putting pictures, sometimes it's an attention. It's not it's a cry for help.
Cry for help.
But we name it as a we name it as an attention. You're a pity party. You want the crowd to be allowed you, and you want to be heard. And it is true. Those people want to be heard because whatever is within them is really disturbing them, and it's creating anxiety within them. So when they speak it out, when they put the photos out, they want somebody to notice them. And once they notice, I want us to know as a society, it is a cry for help for many. When you hear somebody telling you that I will kill you, please be sure that they will kill you. Why? Because sometimes we ignore. He has always said that. And they keep on, the urge is within, it's not without. But the way if you see somebody verbalizing and even posting something on the social media, it's not a cry for, it's not attention seeking, it is a cry for help, because the within, it's ailing and the mind is ailing. At least when you get hurt, when I'm hurt, like my heart, I'll get attention from even my family. Like there is a time I was hurt my heart recently, and you'll get attention. People will take care of you. But when you tell somebody you're not well mentally, they never get to understand. They will give you a headache, or they will self-medicate, and then they will wait for you to be normal. Unfortunately, because it has not been treated, there is no help that has been sought, you continue being stressed again, and you continue ailing from within. And when you're ailing from within, the without is also not found. Yes, and that is why you see people getting into the work. You're not able to really operate well in the work schedule. You're not really able to operate well if you're a family person. If you're a young person, you're not able to relate well because your inner person, it is not healthy.
All right. And this brings me to this question of the treatment options that are available. We know of the two main, that is medication and counseling. Now, from your point of things, tell us a bit about what counseling serves to help and what the medication serves to help.
Yes. I want to talk about them both because both are important. But I want to say the early signs of mental illness in terms of the depression and the early signs, it is the best to seek for counseling. I'm not downplaying anything when you seek counseling, because you need to collect the behavior, and that is where we call for behavior change. That one can be done very well with psychotherapy or counseling, or through counseling, talking about it, because you'll be able to restructure your brain, your mind, through cognitive behavior therapy, whereby the mind is, it's like there is restructuring of the mind. And through cognitive behavior therapy, you're able to restructure again the mind. So you correct again the mind. And also doing interpersonal therapy, whereby you're taken through by a counselor. But also, when it persists, it is very good to seek for medical. Like bipolar, you cannot do without the antidepressant. You cannot do without seeing a psychiatrist, because it's a mood disorder. You never know what will happen. So sometimes it's stabilized using the drugs or the pills. However, anything that has been overused, it is an abuse. And we have found that people have abused the antidepressants. People are self-medicating themselves. And once you continue like that, the behavior change. You become codependent on the drugs. You cannot really operate without drugs. And when it reaches to that point, you're going to the other extreme of being psycho. And when you become psycho, and I say that we need to get the early signs, because we even have the postpartum depression, whereby for the young mothers, because of just getting a baby and the environment, depression can be caused by the environment. It is also a genetic, whereby it's learned through the family.
Genetic predisposition.
Yes, it could be also social, because the personality. The personalities, we have different personalities. We have the introverts and the extroverts, and people behave differently. It plays around those areas.
Okay.
And maybe the triggers may cause you to go down very deep into depression. And therefore, as you have said, let's take care of these things earlier enough. And let's create awareness in the society. And let's know when somebody is seeking for attention, because after a loss, like now, for example, after a loss, if it's taken care of properly, like when you've gone through a loss of somebody or something that is very dear to you, you enter into if you're not treated well, you can enter into complicated griefs that take you deep into depression. Therefore, I really would advise people to seek for counseling early, because with counseling, you're able to correct many things, as opposed to waiting until somebody gets very depressed or gets very ill and they go to major depression, whereby they cannot operate without drugs, because it's treatable. I've worked with people with depression, and the early stages, you're able to treat it very well without the medication.
Need of drugs.
Because when people go into drugs, and it is a codependence. You know, my body cannot function without drugs. And that, again, it's an abuse also.
Okay. Now, as a counseling psychologist,
yes.
I had mentioned to you about this story that is here on one of our dailies this morning.
Yes.
Just talking about this conversation that we are having, how patients are now at risk of being hooked to antidepressants, and you've mentioned the whole issue of overusing these drugs.
Yes.
At what point does it become abuse? As a medic, you prescribe and you employ both the use of drugs and counseling in a balanced way. At what point does it now become an abuse, looking at the prolonged use of it, and also considering the fact that as a medic you are prescribing it?
Okay, what I will say is, if you want to take those medicine, please go and see a psychiatrist. Don't go to the over-the-counter drugs. Don't self-medicate yourself. And also, when you see changes, also seek medical attention in terms of go see a doctor, go see a psychiatrist who is going to look at the signs, and then after looking at the signs, they prescribe. And also, for a psychiatrist, kindly I request, work along with a psychotherapist to ensure the wholeness. You know, our ethics as counselors, as psychologists, tells us, ensure that you benefit your client. You know, benefitness. Because if the client doesn't benefit from you, if all they can do is to depend on drugs to be able to, for their survival for the whole of the year, and there is no time they will ever be at a standstill whereby they say, at least I can do without them. You know, it's good to work together so that the doctor, the psychiatrist, and the psychotherapist, they work together. And it's true, that is what we do. We work together. But it's quite unfortunately sometimes people don't want to go for counseling. Why? Because they feel that when you talk about yourself, when you talk about your issues, you're exposing yourself. Whereas the psychotherapy is very important, because when you talk about your issues, when you talk about yourself, when you talk about your ailments, when you talk about your losses, when you talk about your loss and griefs, when you talk about, when you expose yourself to such things, sometimes you get vulnerable. But after getting vulnerable, you get to a process whereby you start processing your issues slowly by slowly, and that is your healing process. Like in loss and grief that I was telling you, if you've lost a loved one and you're going through a process of psychotherapy, working with somebody, you process it and you put a closure.
All right. Now, speaking of processing,
yes,
I understand there are people who sink to the extreme end, and there are those consequences of chronic depression. And maybe there's somebody who's watching us this morning and they are not yet there.
Yes.
So maybe you could just talk about the effects that come as a result of chronic depression, to just sound the alert to maybe someone who's watching us this morning as to why it is important to seek medical attention early before we get to the extreme consequences of issues to do with chronic depression.
I always say, Wambo, you can never correct a mess with a mess.
Yeah.
So always ensure that, and I repeat again, it's okay not to be okay. And therefore, look for those signs. If the way you are reacting or behaving or feeling, it is not the normal way. You know, there is that normal, I see the normal, the daily one, but it's not the normal way. It has persisted. You need to ask yourself what is happening. Before it become chronic, that is the best time to seek for help. And I said again, we need to create awareness to our society to know that mental health, it is very important, even at our places of work. If you have a persistent headache, today you have a headache, tomorrow you have a headache, it's an alert. And you need also to alert the people at your place of work and let them know that you're not well. And being away from work, today you're here. But tomorrow, if you're not there, Wambo, I'm sure you'll get a replacement. Let's be honest. And sometimes you push ourselves. It's a quick fix, yeah? Because people are looking for. So it is okay to know that you can never fix your body. Especially you can never fix your mental spaces in case you have a problem. And therefore, it's good to seek for help early to correct the mess instead of entering into a deeper mess that you'll not be able to correct it. And therefore, it's a call for creating awareness. You need to check on those signs and then go seek for medical attention. Once you go seek for a medical attention, because people get to lash to the doctors, to the psychiatrists, which is a good thing. Once you understand that, remember you need to work with a therapist or a counselor to ensure that you're also you're also going through the process, because after the prescription, it is easier because it's a quick fix, because you take the drug, and that is why they are said there is that tendency of people wanting to quick fix,
go to drugs as opposed to counseling.
But after going for quick fix, what happens is, as you continue taking the drugs, you become dependent on them, so you cannot operate on the normal way. But with the psychotherapy, you walk and work and process with a therapy in a therapy session. After doing that, you are able to be able to know, this is where I got stuck, this is where the problems began. Because sometimes it's the childhood that is affecting you today. Sometimes it's the losses that you went through at an early stage. Sometimes it's a divorce. And people have this awareness, again, the casual talk, that it's okay, let's move on. You know, and that is why you're fighting. Somebody has been divorced today, and tomorrow they are remarrying. Have they healed?
And that brings me to the next aspect, and as we draw the conversation to a close, we're almost out of time. Learning to pick healthy coping mechanisms. Because many a times, we will rush to what we feel is what I need right now, but it could be unhealthy. It could be detrimental to my health, my physical state, my work situation. Learning to pick and choose healthy coping mechanisms. Very briefly, as we
have the health coping mechanism, we have doing exercises, we have getting the right social networks, we also have eating well. In terms of eating well, as you said, the eating disorder may push you to eating unhealthy, like taking the sugary things, so you need to eat healthy and also seek help early. And on the other side, I said, don't look for quick fix. If a relationship has failed, before you jump to another one, kindly ensure that have you been able to come into terms with yourself? Because sometimes you find in the social media that I dropped a boyfriend yesterday, and today I'm picking another one. Where are they coming from? It's very fast. You know, it's very fast. But your inner self, it is, as I said, you're very anxious about what people will say when you're staying in a low state mode. So you want to fix yourself to ensure that the social media or the social crowd, the crowd are wanakutambua. Unaget, that is a word. By the time wanakutambua, you again enter into a messy relationship. Then you're abused again. And the cycle continues, and the pattern continues. The more it continues, again you get somebody is like this. They are down. They are flat. They no longer want to hear from anybody. Why? Because already the inner self is not healing. You're not healing. The anxiety, to numb your feeling. You know, the feeling of sadness, the emotional feeling, you want to numb it and you want to comfort it by ensuring to the world that you're okay. And whereas you're wearing a mask. And that mask, in counseling we do, let's remove our mask off. After masking off, now we put the issues at the table. After putting the issues at the table, we prioritize, what do you want us to deal with? You've told me that you lost your husband. You've told me you lost a relationship. You know, the way you come, in counseling people come with all sorts of, it's a comforting whereby you talk about it, you unamwaga, and you vent out. And after venting out, you'll feel...
You feel instant
relief. Yes, instant relief.
Okay.
As opposed to drugs, whereby after getting a headache, you relax. And after relaxing, you wake up. It's like somebody who goes to drugs. I mean, somebody who's an alcoholic, they will go to alcohol because they're not okay. After the alcohol...
It's a temporary solution.
Yeah, it's a temporary solution. Okay. And therefore, I urge people, please, let's work together with the medication. I don't downplay the medication, but the medication and counseling needs to work together, because you need to process your issues to be able to bring a closure and be able to heal. It's a process. Healing is a process, not a quick fix.
Okay.
Nobody has ever healed within one day.
Nobody.
And nobody has ever recovered within one day. And therefore, that is why I'm saying, even in relationship, in case you're struggling with relationship, after you lose one, then you need to give yourself time so that you also create other relationship that will be able to comfort you emotionally when you yourself, you're okay.
All right.
Yes.
You cannot heal in a day. It is only Jesus who turned water into wine.
Wow.
Instantly. So when it comes to healing, we need to learn that you need to peel off the layers to be able to get to the root cause of the problem that could be leading to you not being in a proper state of mental well-being. This is a conversation that we can never exhaust in one sitting. As I had said, this is a conversation we'll keep having right here on Good Morning Kenya, to just make conversations about mental well-being a norm. We are in the 21st century. We cannot be talking about mental issues to still be a taboo. It is a conversation we need to make a mainstream conversation, and one that people feel safe and can talk about openly. Today we have been speaking with Anastasia Kihwaga. She is a counseling psychologist as well as an author and a certified mediator and also a pastor. She's a lady who wears many hats. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Now, we still have more coming up in regards to the interviews that we have lined up for you, but thank you so much for staying with us. Hey! Thank you so much for staying with us this far. Do not go away. The hashtag is still Good Morning Kenya. At KBC Channel 1 News, at Jane Wamboy is how you can find me across all the social. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
The 2021 Africa Cup of Nations brings us home to another exciting qualifier where Harambee Stars host the Colasantes of Comoros Wednesday, the 11th of November at Kasarani.
And that goal! And it is a goal! Coming on exactly 34 minutes, Johanna Omolo.
Watch it live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1 at 7 p.m. as we continue to showcase Africa's best on your true sports partner.
tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Wrong?
Nothing, Pumpkin. Umwangalie ukaona hata sasa hivi kuna kitu ambacho anaficha. Men will always have something to hide.
What are you doing?
We have to talk.
You scared the hell out of me.
You used me to get Mrs. Hortensia's head all messed up. And now you are hiding so you can avoid giving me what you promised me.
Can't you understand that I'm really tense?
El paraíso
In love with Ramon.
Just before we go to the next interview, how about we take a look at our roads for our last traffic link this Tuesday? And you're still focusing on that road that I mentioned to you earlier. You're still looking at Juju Road, try to see if at all things have changed, if at all we will be needing to look at some alternative routes, or it's just a smooth sailing all through. So how about we take a look at that, and that is Juju Road. So this is our map. And this is actually how it's looking like. Let's see if things have changed, or it is, just the same as how it was. Let's get that. So this is actually that specific route. Looks like things have at least slightly changed a bit. Let me just expand that for you. This is the roundabout. Things have slightly changed a bit. And actually, this is in different places, different areas. It looks like from the roundabout where the road begins as you branch off to Komarok Road, as well as Outer Ring Highway on both sides. Things have changed for the worst, if I can mention, because throughout the entire roundabout, traffic is really building up. And look at that. When you see, just the difference in colors, a bit of orange, red, it just means that in some parts it's building up, in others moving at a really slow pace. And on that section, just before you go to the other side of Outer Ring Road, before you head over all the way to Thika Superhighway, which is actually this section right here, on that specific area, moving at a pretty slow pace. But then again, it is a roundabout, so ultimately we would expect to see that. But as you branch off from the roundabout coming all the way to Juja Road, if you can remember, in the second leak, all through this entire road, especially on this specific lane as you're heading over to the CBD, it was heavy kind of traffic. But look at this, at least things have opened up and it looks like a smooth sailing. So again, we don't really have to look at some alternative routes, which is what we wanted to do, but we don't really have to look at that because at least it's opened up. So it means for residents along this specific route, at least a bit of a smooth sailing as you're heading over to the city center, and also as you leave CBD coming to the estates, still sticking or using Juja Road. At least things have changed to the better. Look at this, green all through. So anytime you see green, it just means that there's no traffic moving at a really fast pace, and that is actually how it is looking like. And the beauty of that is that this actually goes all the way from the roundabout as you come all the way to the city center past Moi Forces, where there was heavy traffic, at least on that specific area, moving pretty fast. As you come all the way to that around the new new roundabout actually along this road, which is the Mlango Kubwa roundabout, also on that specific area, moving pretty fast. So again, for those coming from Thika Super Highway, you can use this specific road as an alternative route. This is again only for those that are coming from Thika Super Highway, because all through at least it is not looking that bad. But look at that, things have now changed. Actually, just right this very minute, things have changed. Now, this area which I was talking about, which is around this specific roundabout, one of those new roundabouts along Juja Road, looks like, you know, just changed for the worse. But then again, if you're past this area, at least not really that bad for you. So yes, in as much as this traffic, it is a manageable kind of traffic just as you leave the roundabout. Again, let's look at one last area before we wrap it up at this hour. This is next to the Pangani intersection. Again, if you can remember, I keep talking about this area all the time as one of those good alternative routes, especially again for those that are coming from Thika Super Highway. And look at this, at least not that bad. Green all through, and again, specifically on that lane that is coming all the way to the city center before you branch off to the other side of Ngara. So along this road, just where there's really heavy traffic, if I can mention, is as you leave the Mlango Kubwa roundabout, on that stretch all through till the Pangani intersection. Actually, that is just where there's heavy kind of traffic. And if you can actually see this on your screen, that has been well indicated by the different cocktail of colors there. So that's how it is looking like this morning in terms of traffic. At least we've tried to focus on what has been happening along Juja Road as well as a bit of Thika Super Highway at this hour. This is how the road situation looks like as of now in terms of traffic.
You're harassing my guest. And I don't. Hi, how did that happen? I mean, welcome to the program. And my name is Samuel Njoroge. Asante sana for being a part of Good Morning Kenya this far. Welcome to the program. Now, I will be having a conversation with a lady. She's done quite a lot for herself. She's out there. I would like to think of her as an entrepreneur, because she is making things happen. And she'll be letting us know all about her life, her times, and some of the things she's able to do so far. Tracy Waithera, welcome to the program. How you doing?
I'm good,
Everything
thank you.
all right?
Yes.
I love the neck piece, by the way.
Thank you.
There's something about it.
Ah, okay.
It's African and chic.
I think I'm an African lady.
Karibu sana to the show. Maybe you can start by telling us just a little bit about yourself.
My name is Tracy Waithera Wanjiro. I'm an actress, an entrepreneur, and a business lady, per se. And apart from that, I'm a brand. My brand is called TW. TW has like two organizations. One is TW Foundation that deals with humanitarian work, and the other one is all about motivational speaking and holding programs to inspire the youth.
Nice.
Yes.
We're getting some motivation this Tuesday morning. You're definitely in the right place. So what exactly drove you into you making the choices that you've made in as far as your life is concerned? What drove you to being this brand, TW?
Okay, mostly what drove me to being TW comes from one person who inspires me so much, called Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is a golfer. He inspires me
Anakuinspire tu.
sana tu.
Imagine na Samuel Njoroge wako tu hapa Kenya na waja kuinspire bado.
Inspire.
Imagine.
Yes.
This gender. Move on.
Yes. So that's why I chose like TW. You know, there's that one person that you always look up to. So I think that's the person. And whatever drove me to maybe start something like a brand called TW, it's because I think I love a lot of humanitarian work, helping people outside there, because I believe right now where I am in life, it's because of people who have been in my life acting like stepping stones to where I am. So I've been helped at one situation. So I believe that I can help people too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You've had stepping stones.
Yes.
Also, you've had those people who...
Of course.
Yeah, they are your stones.
Yes.
Step on them, Tracy.
Of course.
Step on them. So when it comes to, of course, TW Foundation, what exactly do you focus on? What is your goal with TW Foundation?
Okay. TW Foundation, one thing that we focus on is changing the youth to be the best they can for themselves. That's the main thing. Why I said it like this, it's because I believe you don't have to be a business person when you're 40 years, 50 years. You can be a business person even when you're so young, like at the age of 20, 19, 18. You can inspire yourself and tell yourself, you know what, I think I want this and this and this in life, so why don't I go for it? Why don't I do whatever that it takes me or whatever that it costs for me to do that one thing?
And what are some of the initiatives that you have been able to undertake under TW Foundation?
Okay, I've done like 3 mostly. One is a certain program that I do for children's home. I take young girls and young boys, talk about how to grow their talent, what's their talent, and how they can maneuver their talent to be monetized. And the other one is based on ladies, like women, about cleanliness, mental health, and all inspiration under this young generation relationships. You know, relationships like young generation, us as the youth, we get ourselves into relationships where you having domestic violence, your boyfriend does this to you, all that.
I know.
Yes.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, so I come up with like such a team. We talk about what involves you as a youth, what is affecting you. Yes.
Nice. Let's talk about these situationships. That's what I call them.
Yes.
Yeah. These situationships. And troubling statistics were given even yesterday through the papers about the number of people who are getting to kill themselves just because of a relationship gone bad or a situationship misunderstood. How are you able to handle that situation?
Okay. Sometimes it happens that you are a small human being or you're just a young youth. And whatever you're suffering from is like you're in a domesticated violence relationship. And because you're in this relationship, the only thing that you're getting there, you're only there because maybe your boyfriend has a house, so maybe you're staying in that house. And these are not the kind of starters to make you suffer because you have a very bright future out there. You can make something out of yourself as a young lady, as a young man. You can make something out of yourself. You don't have to be in a cocoon of a relationship that makes you suffer, makes you cry, makes you get into depression, yet you have a talent, you have a business mindset, you have something that can make you outgrow yourself as a young woman or as a young man, then why suffer because of just a relationship or something?
I think it's just a question of loving them until they learn how to love themselves.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So let's move to your brand as TW.
Yes.
And I know you're also doing a radio show somewhere.
Yes.
Nimewambia poleni sana. So you're also on radio.
Yes.
Let's talk about your journey as a presenter and how you actually ended up doing radio.
Okay, I think when I was in high school and primary school, I was such a little bit of a cartoonish, you know, like a cartoon. When you're on the parade, the only thing that you'll think of is doing, you know, those funny bits that teachers will do, like your math teacher will do that funny bit. So
imitating them and stuff.
Yes, something like that. But I would always choose the funny stuff.
Oh my goodness, I got myself in trouble because of that one day. But move on.
I got myself into trouble once because I maybe joked with a teacher who does not like jokes. Yes, so I got myself maybe going home, calling the parent. It's okay. I think it was just a pathway, setting a pathway for myself. Yes, so immediately I got into social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I got to, you know, this is how you connect your television, then it will play like some music. So I just took my phone. I was just taking my phone, actually, putting it in front of the camera, and then I play some music. Then I would pause with the remote, then choose a topic. I'm like, yeah, today we're talking about early teenage pregnancies. So a little bit of music, then I'm like, then I pause. Then I'm like, yo guys, teenage pregnancy. Today the topic is early teenage pregnancies. We're going to talk about prevention, all those.
Nice.
Yes, and that's how I think I started my journey as a radio presenter, just doing my own shows and calling them TWFM.
Wow.
Yes.
And so that graduated slowly into radio.
Yes.
So talk to us about your radio career as it is right now.
Okay, so, you know, I'm just seated there, then the phone rang. Then this director from RFM. RFM is a community radio in Limuru. It's Kikuyu. I'm a Kikuyu. I love my culture a lot.
You love your people.
Very.
Waru na gadhufu.
Apo sana na tumiji, you know?
Na kafirifiri kwa umbali.
Yes. But isikose kanyama kakota, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. So I got myself like approached by the director, and they gave me like a show. It's yet to be like, you know, they start you in a particular show, it's like from this time to this time. But mostly whatever that I cater or I do in that radio station is domereria beujede. That means like all the things that affect the youth and all the things that can upgrade the youth from the position they are right now in life to the next level.
Domereria beujede.
Yes.
Huh? Tafarera ya domereri ya beujede. Tafarera ya domereri ya beujede.
Yes.
Toroka kuriwe kulma wo kuri muru. Na jitago TW.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so when you assess yourself right now, where do you want to be within the next 2-3 years?
Okay, in the next 2-3 years, I have a company called Empress Tracy. It's a sales and marketing agency. In the next 3 years, this agency will be like creating a lot of job opportunity.
Apokwa Empress Tracy. Hey, talk to us a little bit about that. Okay, so you have yet another company.
Yes.
All right, I'm clearly hanging out with the right person this morning.
Okay.
Talk to us about Empress Tracy.
It happened that when I finished my high school, I got enrolled into a certain sales and marketing agency where you're signed in to go and do activations, or rather brand ambassadors work. Like, for example, you do Unilever products, all other big companies in supermarkets, wearing dresses, calling people, yo, I sell this. It's more better than the product that you use, you know, sales and marketing. So it gave me the motivation of starting my own company, which does sales and marketing. So it's an agency. It can like recruit young people for them to be brand ambassadors of different products.
Okay. So how would you compare employment? Because you're on radio, you're employed, right?
Yes.
But you have these other things you're doing on the side.
Yes.
How would you compare employment versus entrepreneurship?
I think entrepreneurship is the best thing because, one, you own it. You own it you as a person. Sometimes, you know, in employment, I'm doing it because you, Samuel, you want me to do this and this.
Yeah.
In entrepreneurship, it's something that you own. It's your business. So you want the best out of your business. You don't care whether somebody else is seeing something different from your business. You want to deliver the best 100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you I'm like employed, you're like, should I even wake up? You know, you have those questions. But as an entrepreneur, you're like, yo, you need to wake up.
You don't get to snooze.
You don't. It's very hard for you to snooze because there are some people who are like counting on you like 4 or 5. You have a team.
Yeah.
Some people are like counting on you. They're like, hey, if today my boss does not come, I know that Kacheka won't get it. You know, so your obligations are like, I have some people who like look up to me. Not only them, even your family and everybody. So I believe that entrepreneurship gives you that sense of belonging. That sense of knowing that this is something that I own, I need to do this because I want, at the end of the year, you have goals. At the end of the month, you have something you want to achieve with that particular company.
Nice. What is that one thing that you're proud of?
My company, Empress Tracy.
Empress Tracy.
Yes.
And why Empress Tracy?
I believe I'm a queen in my own kingdom.
Fix your crown. I know.
My goodness.
So, of course, there are young people out here who are going through challenges.
Yes.
Employment and opportunities become scarce in the country as time goes by.
Yeah.
What message would you have for them?
What I will tell somebody out there who you're like trying to look for a job or something, for me, I believe in something called create it. Like, create it. Sometimes you might be seated somewhere, you're like, there are no jobs, there are no everything, but you have like that particular 5,000 Kenya shillings in your pocket. The 5,000 Kenya shillings, there is somewhere where people are selling like onions at a wholesale. You get like a whole sack, like at 1,500. At home, back in at 3,500 in your pocket.
Yeah.
Why don't you take that and go create something for yourself? Sometimes you don't have to stay there and wait for you to send 100,000 emails for you to get a job. You need to create it from the inner you. Create something. Somebody will spot you, put in your status. People will be like, yo, I want onions, 30 shillings, 50 shillings, like that. You need to know how to appreciate small steps. Because these small steps really guide your lifetime business. You as an entrepreneur, what do you want in future? It might be maybe you'll go into a business which it's not something that you dreamt of, but remember that time you don't have anything. You're just there, you like a zombie. There's nothing that you're doing. So step out, walk on your own path. You will see a lot of people in Instagram, in all those platforms, but don't walk on anybody's lane. You have your own lane, walk on your path. Because if God says that your blessings are your blessings, they will never come to your neighbor. Yes.
And be secure.
Very.
Stop being insecure with yourself.
Yes.
It's not right. And what are those things? Or, you know, at times people need a helping, as you said.
Yes.
You have stepping stones.
Yes.
Right? What are some of those things that are critical when you're looking for a mentor, when you're looking for someone to hold your hand?
Okay, when you're looking for somebody to like mentor you, you need to look for somebody who like really appreciates people. That's one thing that I say, because people around me, it will be so hard for you to come and confront me, because you'll be like, you know what, Tracy will judge me. Tracy will judge the step that I am in life. Tracy will judge the particular job that I do. So you need to really look at the people who you look up to, and remember the people who you relate with. You know, sometimes you get ourselves relating a lot with people who are just here. Maybe they don't see tomorrow or something. But I would advise, it's very good to relate with people who are like a little bit older than you, or people who are like business-wise innovative or something. But I'm not saying that you should not relate with people who are around your age or anything. No, they might be your age mates, but they have something to offer. Yes, they have something to offer. Just be around a company that can give you positive impact. The negativity, avoid it.
I know.
Yes.
I mean, hang around lions, you will be one.
Yeah.
Hang around zebras, you will be one.
Hang around chickens, you'll be a chicken.
Hang around rats,
you'll be a rat. Yes.
So, what is that one thing you find very challenging in terms of executing your business prowess?
Okay, sometimes when you're thinking of a business idea, whatever that comes into a lot of people's mind, one is capital, all that detail. But when you think about you thinking about how many people will give you the capital, have you looked at whatever you can key in that something little? So those are some of the challenges that really people, you'll ask somebody and somebody will just tell you, I don't have capital, I don't have somewhere I can set my work on, I don't have all that detail. But for you to execute it, you need to believe in yourself that I will really have this and it will really make it. Yeah. Because business comes with a lot of challenges. And you remember, a business without a challenge, I don't believe there is any business without a challenge. So you need to take these challenges as positive as you can. Because if you let them to be something that backfires you negatively, it will always pull you down. Or you'll find yourself starting a business today, tomorrow you've closed, you've opened another one. You close today, you open another one. All in different business sectors. So why?
And it is what it is.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a challenge. It's 1 p.m.
Yes.
All right? And you're on radio. Give us a stint or a stunt.
Okay.
Going now.
Click. Ding. Okay. Netha mogwanja nĩ ciatũkinyĩrĩra gũkũ ũguo kwa KBC Channel 1 hamwe rĩtwa njĩtagwo Teresia Waithera wa Wanjirũ. Nĩ mũkũmenyithio ndũmĩrĩria ya mbeũ njĩthĩ Nitorona kwina mbeu njithe ihari ari muru na mbeu ino njithe ri nirenda maundu maiganaine hamwe na hamwe matire na biashara tukomateithia atia makorwo na biashara ciao cikorwo wega nitukomenyithio mbeu ingi ni mundu witagwo Samuel emwe no yungi wa riboti
na no mutwaririe kwitukira mutambo witu wa social media. That's dope. Yeah. That's dope. So, in terms of expanding your career on radio, where do you want to? Because we've spoken of your prowess as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What of radio? Like, where do you want to be within the next 10 years, for example, or 5?
Okay, there's one aspiring radio station. I don't know if I should mention it.
Why? Okay, you'll tell me about it later. But
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want like in the next 5 years to be like the great radio presenter, a Kikuyu radio presenter, stroke English, because I believe there are no young people who do like, you know, presentation of Kikuyu. They'll look at you and be like, you don't look like presenting Kikuyu. Yes. So I believe, I can't twang. You've just had it for yourself. So yeah. Going for it.
There you go.
Yes.
And we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
So, how are you able to strike a proper balance with life? I mean, handling all these projects that you have, how are you able to achieve balance and equilibrium at the end of the day?
What I really do, my role is do everything that you want to do, but make sure you do the ones that you care about mostly in the right way possible. You get that?
Yeah.
You do everything in the best way possible. Sometimes it's good to know your weaknesses and your strength. When you discover about your strength, this will be something that will be guiding you so that you will work on your weaknesses. So if you know your weakness is waking up early, you'll be like, I need to work on this. If you know your weakness is not doing good etiquette, or you can't like embrace people in a positive manner, you work on it. So know your strengths and your weakness. It's very important. Yes.
What would you say is the best thing about Tracy?
The best thing about Tracy, I think Tracy is very enthusiastic. Yes. And so proud of herself.
Nice. I was about to say something, then I realized we're on television.
Wow.
And we need to be proper. Yeah? We need to be proper.
Yes.
And what is that one thing that you feel challenges you, not even challenge, that you don't exactly really like about yourself?
Okay, I laugh very loudly, so I think sometimes it affects like different people.
I got one of those in my life. Have you met my co-host? She can't keep calm when she's laughing.
So sometimes when you laugh, you be like, people is like, somebody's like just looking at you like, you know, that look. Yeah, so. Yes. Or maybe you'll just laugh and people will be like, how can you kucheka hivyo? You're like, kweni mtu anafaa kucheka aje?
Nipatie memo.
Yes.
So like what's the protocol? And what's that one thing that you would love to be remembered for as an entrepreneur?
Creating job opportunities to people, because people created a job opportunity for me, and it helped me somewhere in life that till today I've never forgotten. Like, I can narrate it as a story so well, because I was just helped at a particular time in life that I was so in need. And if it's not for that particular agency, I don't believe I would be where I am. Yes.
Nice. So take time and speak to young people, your final thoughts, your final words to them this morning.
All right. So, guys, you as a young person, remember that you have goals. It's so good to have your goal. And remember that you need to know what you want in life. It becomes a problem if you cannot state the things that you want in life, because it gives you a doom way. Like, it becomes as if you're doomed. Because if you don't know like what you want to achieve in life, that means you just wake up because God just made you to wake up, or just You just got the gift of life in the morning. So you don't have to be living because you're just living. Live with a purpose. Try and discover your purpose. Try and discover what you want in life. Try and discover what you want to achieve in the next 2 years, 1 month, 3 months. And remember, if you know that you only measure success into getting all the big things, that's not success. Success is achieving these small and little things that you want. Today you want to like buy a t-shirt, you've achieved something. You've bought that t-shirt, so yeah, you've achieved it. So you've been successful for that day. Yes.
Nice. They say the first successful task for the day is making your bed.
Exactly.
So wake up and make your bed.
You're
First
successful.
task, right? And for some reason, there is an increased population of the male gender in this studio. Sijui wametoka wapi. Wamejaja huku hata sura sijaiona before. Like, what's happening, people?
What's popping?
Yeah. So, wadau na wadaulettes, Tracy Waithera there for you, telling you what you can be, what you can achieve, as long as you set your mind to it. Tracy, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate your company and your insight right here on the show. We will accord you some security on your way out because I don't trust some of the faces around here. Yeah, but in the meantime, I'm bringing in Regina. Ray, how are you?
How are you? I really like this morning the way things are looking up. You know, when you hear women who are still focused on doing better, and you know, society says you empower a woman, you empower a village. I think that's the way to go. We are on the right track, Sam.
Nice. You got a message for Tracy?
Tracy, you challenged me there with your announcing in your mother tongue, which is Kikuyu, and I was here thinking about myself. Can I do one in Meru? And I'm thinking, we went to Havant, we are the people of the Mbas. It might not come out as nice as yours did, so yeah, that really sounded well. And I hope you achieve everything that you want to achieve in as far as your career is concerned, and as well as entrepreneurship. I am an advocate of people thinking outside the box. Actually, there are no boxes to be thought about, and entrepreneurship is where we're supposed to be going. I mean, look at what is happening with the youth right now and the COVID-19 pandemic. So many people are out of a job, but you can imagine if you have a bankable idea and running with it. You might end up being an employer and saving a lot of other people's a lot of agony of being jobless and such. So entrepreneurship for me, I'm on that best.
Nice.
Yeah.
Proper definition of Mali Safi. Right?
Kaboom.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. I can see Jane doing things I've never seen her do before. So I will be inviting my co-host right here, Doreen.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm good.
What have you been able to pick out from this conversation?
Well, I think, and I was just laughing and smiling the entire conversation. I love how Tracy can be able to juggle employment and entrepreneurship. And what I love the most is the fact when she said, you know, being an entrepreneur, always this Luzio alarm. And I felt I could relate. I felt like it relate because it gives you more, just the way she mentioned, a sense of belonging. You sort of like want to work even more harder. It doesn't mean that for your employer you're not working hard, but it just makes you, think outside the box, makes you want to work more harder, makes you even become a better person. And it was really nice. So yeah, even if you are in employment, sometimes just think beyond that employment, because again, you don't want to stay there till forever. Sometimes just think beyond that. And I think for Tracy, that's what she's been able to bring out. Even for those of us who are in employment, at least think beyond just that co-working space. What extra, what more can you do? How can you become a better person besides just working for somebody else?
And she has a passionate laugh.
Kabisa.
Guess who else has one of those? Eh?
Ndiyo huyo.
She's somewhere, somewhat close to me.
In all her glory.
In all her glory.
And on her end of things, she appears.
Our sign language interpreter is doing things right now
On her
that
end
I'm
of things,
struggling
she's
to
doing
understand.
Wait, you missed that part. On her end of things, she's doing some things.
Blow by blow.
I tell you.
Account of what is happening. But challenge great to see what we don't always need to wait on employment to make a living, because it's one of the things we have grown knowing. Ukimaliza shule, pata kazi, nunua gari, nunua hii, nini. There's a structured way of thinking that we need to just do away with and just learn how to live and keep up with the changing times. Yeah, jitawa jeni wabui wa kifira. Namba yako ni kifugu mugoja. Kifugu.
You need to stop. Just stop.
I like how kifugu sounds.
Yeah, but guess how blessed
the challenge of mother tongue happening in this studio today.
I tell you.
How blessed are you, Sam?
Oh, wow. Just look at that screen. You'll understand how blessed I am.
He's walking on sunshine.
All these ladies are amazing and they take care of me very well, by the way. I can attest to that. Ray, you've been awfully quiet. What's happening from your end of things?
Kifogo?
No, Jane, we're not doing that right now.
I'm not too sure you want to hear my Meru right now. It will not, We are the people.
You are to do something.
Dee even shouldn't be saying nothing about her mother tongue. She can't even say one word.
Okay, I'm quiet.
No, she can.
I'm quiet.
Which one?
Lokrikoni.
Oh my God, no.
She says that very well.
No.
Me, when? How? With who? When? In which circumstance?
Hey.
Yeah. But at least you saw that clip that is making rounds on social media.
Which clip?
On how Meru women audition to be a wife.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah? You want to go down that road?
No.
You actually want to take that road?
Nimerudi. Like nilikuwa na attempt lakini nimerudi side.
You withdraw and apologize.
Like I withdraw. Yeah, to apologize ni tricky. But
you say no.
Lakini I withdraw for now because our producer needs to show you that clip. Like Leo will probably play it out for you. But it's been an interesting day and a lot will be coming forth from KBC Channel 1 in as far as programming is concerned. So you can check that out. And of course, one of the critical things that will be coming up in as far as this week is concerned is the State of the Nation address that will be happening on the 12th, where we expect the president to be making way to Parliament, where he will be addressing a joint session of both houses, of course, until together with members from the executive, the judiciary too, and we'll be getting to understand the state of the nation as we are at, courtesy of COVID-19, and how the roadmap will look like way beyond. At times I find a challenge,
How the roadmap will look like.
Sijasema Lord. Siwezi sema hivyo. Hiyo tena itakuwa tricky.
Well, we're still at it.
It's okay.
Sam, while we're still at it, some stuff is going to be happening, or rather going down at the Senate this morning. We expect that the Senate meeting is going to also be having a conversation around the land question. And this is some of the issues, among the issues that have been raised in as far as the BBR report. So the Senate Lands Committee is going to be meeting this morning. We'll be keeping tabs on that. Our reporters who follow up the proceedings of the National Assembly as well as the Senate are going to be filing the stories in regard to that particular issue. So yes, you rightly put it. There's so much in the course of broadcasting, including news. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. Yeah.
From your end of things, Jane?
Niko haya tu kwa sasa, of course, appreciating our viewers for staying with us through and through. Naona Mudhamaki hapa, we also have creative.
Anaitwa nani?
Anaitwa Mudhamaki.
Nimekwama hapo.
Kuna mwingine anaitwa Creative Activities for Kids, anauliza tag ya Teresia. Hey, could you tag Teresia hapa? The entrepreneurship interview. I need to ask a quiz.
Uliza saa hii ujibiwe.
Uliza ujibiwe.
Wachama
anataka Teresia specifically.
Who does that?
It will not go down on the DM.
It's not going down on the DM.
It's not happening here.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
yeah.
But the viewer wants Teresia specifically.
Her name is actually Tracy. You realize
Tracy,
that?
imagine amemwita Teresia.
Ashaanguka mtihani.
Amechoma.
Me suggest you have the wrong person, so I don't think the person we have in is Teresia. So tukipata Teresia tutakutumia.
Tutakwambia.
But thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching though.
Yeah.
We also have Koros mwenyewe. Anasema alikuwa na watch anasema Keses is watching. Sasa sijui kama Keses ni mali yu kama ana speaking of himself in third person. But thank you for watching. We always appreciate you all for making time to be with us. Kuna tweet moja hapa by Jacqueline Hills who says, never apologize for being sensitive or emotional. Let this be a sign that you are you've got a big heart and you aren't afraid of letting others see it. Showing your emotions is a sign of strength. And I think this goes into the mental health conversation we were talking about, looking at the issue of depression, because as we heard from Daktari, talking is one of the treatment options that are there when it comes to dealing with mental health issues. Nonetheless, thank y'all so much for talking with us.
You know,
I see you.
I see you too, Ndi. Your final remarks, Ndi.
See you tomorrow for another exciting episode of Good Morning Kenya.
I tell you, asanteni kwa kuja. Thanks for coming. The only way to start your morning. Good morning, Kenya. We're taking a bow for now. Enjoy the rest of your day. Tupatane papa hapa kesho, inshallah.
What?
Assalamu alaikum.
Cheza montage, producer, director. It's a wrap.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Purushottam. Whose entire truth is known to me. Come here in desperate times with great hopes. Listen, I have been told that no one other than you can help me. Help me, please do not decline.
You haven't even figured out my plan yet.
You have learned about my plan now.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Huo umekaa unakaa guilty vile ulikuwa na zile file na ukawa unazificha.
You are going to regret it. Naona ni kama unaweza kunifanya kama moja hizo project zako small na mimi sifurahi hiyo story.
Girlfriends do stuff for their boyfriends all the time.
Decent people call to cancel on you. Well, I'm glad we didn't meet because you're obviously a waste of time.
Yote ndawai do iko tu sawa kwa macho yako. Unataka kwako.
Ati nini? Why are you people shouting?
Are you okay?
Mwanamke ninakuona sana. Ni wanaume hapa Mombasa wameisha.
Ni nini mbaya?
Nowadays we have so many unfaithful people.
What?
Need to talk about her every time we are together.
And be very careful the way you address me.
Zako zinakuangaje? Huwezi kada kambili hata bila kuteta.
You will all sign new contracts.
And I am supposed to be briefed.
What? Taki ujinga.
Oof.